You think you know how to ride safe? Think again. In this video, we're exposing 150 deadly motorcycle mistakes riders make every single day. The kind that can cost you your bike or your life. From hidden maintenance hacks the pros never talk about, to shocking secrets buried deep in motorcycle safety manuals, what you're about to see could completely change the way you ride. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned rider, don't skip a second, because even one of these mistakes could be the difference between a smooth ride and a fatal one. You're not a bad rider. Just avoid these 7. Number 1. Not looking through the turn. One of the biggest cornering mistakes is not looking far enough through the turn. Many riders get caught staring at something they don't want to hit, like the guardrail or an oncoming car, and the bike ends up going that way. This is called target fixation, and it can cause you to unconsciously steer toward whatever you're looking at, with dangerous consequences. To avoid this, keep your eyes up and look where you want to go, not at the hazard. Turn your head and focus on the curve's exit rather than the patch of gravel in front of your tire. Using a simple look-through technique will give your brain time to adjust your line and keep the bike on track toward safety. In short, look through the turn, your bike will follow your eyes. Number 2. Entering the corner. Too fast. Another common error is charging into a turn too fast. It's tempting to carry a lot of speed into a curve, but coming in hot gives you little room to adjust. If you enter above a safe speed, you might panic mid-turn or run wide out of your lane. The solution is the classic mantra: slow in, fast out. Always finish braking before the turn and enter at a pace that feels comfortable so you can roll on the throttle through the apex and exit. In practice, that means approaching a corner about 10 to 15% slower than your max speed on the straight leading up to it. This way, you maintain a safety margin and can gradually accelerate out of the curve. Remember, there's no prize for taking a bend the fastest. Entering a turn at a sane speed isn't a sign of weakness, it's smart riding. It sets you up to be smooth and in control, rather than scrambling to correct an "oh no, too fast" moment halfway through the curve. Number 3. Poor cornering line. Line selection through a corner is a skill that many riders get wrong. A frequent mistake is turning in too early or hugging the inside edge of the lane too soon. This can cause big problems. If you apex too early, the corner isn't done yet, and you may find yourself drifting wide at the exit, or even crossing the center line into oncoming traffic. On left bends, some riders also err by crowding the yellow line, which is risky if there's an oncoming vehicle. The better approach is to use as much of your lane as possible for a smoother arc. Think outside, apex, outside. Start on the outside third of your lane, then clip a late apex and finish toward the outside again. This wider delayed line gives you the largest turning radius and more options if something unexpected happens mid-turn. Common line mistakes include apexing too early and staying too far outside the whole turn. Practice taking a later apex in corners keeps your bike more stable and leaves you an escape route if the turn tightens or if there's debris on the road. Number 4. Forgetting to countersteer. If you've ever felt the bike just won't turn quick enough, you might be forgetting to properly countersteer. Countersteering is the primary method for initiating a lean at speed, yet it's often misunderstood. Simply put, to go right, push the right handlebar forward; to go left, push the left bar. This causes the bike to lean in the desired direction almost magically. Some newer riders don't consciously do this. They may try just leaning their body or even turning the bars the way they want to go, which actually makes the bike go the opposite way at speed. Pushing down on the bars is another myth. The input needs to be a forward push, with your forearms roughly parallel to the ground. If you're not sure about countersteering, try it in a calm setting. At about 20 to 30 miles per hour, give a gentle forward press on one handlebar. You'll feel the bike respond by tipping into the turn. The more you push, the faster the bike will lean. Mastering countersteering is critical for swift, stable corner entries. Without it, you'll struggle to make tight turns and could end up running wide because the bike never leaned enough. So remember, pressing the bar in the direction of the turn, it's the secret sauce to accurate cornering. Number 5. Stiff body or fear of leaning. Do you ever tense up when the bike starts to lean? That hesitation is more common than most riders admit. Many stay too upright through corners, thinking it feels safer, but it actually makes the turn harder to complete. When your body stiffens and the bike can't lean freely, you end up fighting physics instead of working with it. This fear of leaning is one of the leading causes of riders running wide or drifting off the road in curves. The first step to fixing it is trust. Modern motorcycle tires have incredible grip, far more than most riders ever use. Even at deep lean angles, the tires are designed to hold their line. But if you hang on too tight or counterlean away from the turn, you upset the balance and reduce traction. The key is to stay relaxed and move naturally with the bike. For street riding, lean with the motorcycle and let your torso follow its angle. If nervousness persists, start slow. Practice tight circles and figure eights in a parking lot, adding lean a little at a time. When a corner unexpectedly tightens, resist braking. Instead, lean more and stay smooth on the throttle. The bike can handle it. Confidence grows with every turn and every lean you trust. Number 6. Abrupt. Braking or throttle changes. Mid-corner. Nothing disrupts a motorcycle's stability. Mid-corner faster than sudden, jerky control inputs. Two of the most dangerous habits are grabbing the brakes or abruptly closing the throttle while leaned over. When you hit the brakes suddenly in a turn, the front suspension compresses, the bike tries to stand upright, and traction can disappear instantly. Similarly, chopping the throttle transfers weight forward, unloading the rear tire and causing a loss of grip. Both reactions are instinctive when riders panic after entering a corner too quickly or misjudging their line, but they often make the situation worse. The key is smoothness. Once you've committed to a corner, focus on maintaining a steady, balanced throttle. A light, consistent drive through the turn keeps the suspension stable and evenly distributes traction between the tires. If you realize you're too fast, gently roll off the throttle rather than stabbing the brakes. Let the engine's natural resistance slow you down while holding your line. Skilled riders use trail braking, lightly easing off the front brake while leaning in to fine-tune speed without upsetting balance. Heavy braking should always be done before you lean. The smoother your throttle and brake control, the more predictable your traction and the safer your cornering will be. Number 7. Riding beyond your comfort zone. Riding above your comfort level is one of the most dangerous habits any motorcyclist can develop. It's not a skill issue, it's a mindset problem. Many crashes happen not because riders don't know how to corner, but because they push too hard trying to match someone else's speed. Maybe it's a faster friend or a group ride that tempts you to go beyond what feels safe. But when you ride beyond your limits, mistakes multiply: braking too late, looking down instead of through the turn, or freezing mid-corner. Ego and peer pressure don't belong on two wheels. Ride your own ride isn't just a saying, it's survival advice. If you're comfortable taking a corner at 30 miles per hour, don't push to 40 just to keep up. The goal isn't to arrive first, it's to arrive safe. Real riders respect their limits and improve gradually. Confidence grows with practice, not pressure. Remember, no one remembers who led the pack, but everyone remembers who didn't make it home. Ride smart, not fast. 7 motorcycle boots mistakes that snap ankles, ranked by crash risk. Number 1. Riding without proper motorcycle boots. The worst mistake is riding in sneakers, casual shoes, or unbelievably sandals. Street shoes offer almost no ankle structure and minimal abrasion resistance. In a tumble, they often fly off, leaving your foot bare at the exact moment you need protection. With nothing to hold the joint or spread impact loads, your ankle bone can hit asphalt or get ground along the road surface, and the joint can twist beyond its limits. Riders in everyday shoes show significantly higher rates of foot and ankle injury than riders wearing real moto boots. Even sturdy work boots reduce risk compared with sneakers, and purpose-built riding boots go much further with construction, closure systems, and armor that keep the boot on and the ankle braced. What to do instead? Wear over-the-ankle motorcycle boots every ride. Look for full-grain leather or abrasion-resistant textiles, a robust sole, and secure closures that won't pop open in a slide. Quick trip rides don't get a pass. Crashes don't care how short the route is. Number 2. Wearing low-cut footwear. Plenty of riders choose stylish riding shoes, skate-style sneakers, or low-cut work boots that stop at or below the ankle bone. That leaves the joint exposed and removes the leverage a taller boot provides. Short boots flex and twist at the ankle right when you need them to resist movement. In a low side, the sharp pavement edge, a curb, or the bike itself can strike directly at the malleoli, or your foot can fold under the bike. Tall boots that lace, zip, or buckle up the calf stabilize the joint, spread loads, and resist violent side-to-side rotation. What to do instead? Choose boots that rise well above the ankle, about 8 inches or more is a solid target. Ensure the malleolus area has real protection, and that the lower shin gets coverage too. Even for casual city rides, swap low tops for high tops that truly wrap and brace the joint. Number 3. Trusting work boots or steel toe boots. Heavy work boots feel tough, but they're engineered for very different hazards. Construction boots focus on vertical impacts and toe crush resistance. They generally lack ankle bracing, lateral or torsional stiffness, and the abrasion-resistant stitching and materials meant for sliding on pavement. Laces and eyelets can tear in a crash, letting the boot work loose. Thick lug soles are great on a job site and can catch on asphalt during a slide and sharply twist the ankle. Even steel toe caps don't save ankles from side loads or twisting forces, and they can transmit energy to the foot in odd ways. What to do instead? Use purpose-built motorcycle boots whenever you can. Look for internal ankle cups, reinforced or shanked soles that resist flex, multi-row stitching, and shells that won't split. If you must ride in work boots occasionally, make them a true stopgap. Pick a high, snug, all-leather pair, lace tightly, and treat it as better than sneakers, not equal to moto boots. Number 4. Picking flimsy, fashion boots. Some boots look the part, but fold under real loads. Minimal armor biker boots and lightweight lifestyle riding shoes may protect skin from abrasion, yet fail to prevent the ankle from bending or compressing in a hit. If you can twist the boot side to side easily by hand, the same will happen with your foot inside during a crash. Lacking hard structure around the malleoli, those bones absorb any direct strike. Without a brace, the joint can over-rotate into a fracture or dislocation. What to do instead? Prioritize bona fide ankle structure. Hunt for terms like ankle brace, ankle cup, torsional rigidity, or hinge system. A good boot will feel laterally stiff while still allowing fore-aft flex for shifting and braking. For dirt, stiffness should be pronounced. For street or sport touring, look for a balanced boot with internal bracing and CE-rated impact zones. If a boot folds easily in your hands, pass. Number 5. Wearing boots. Loosely or using slip-ons. Even the best boot fails if it departs your foot mid-tumble. Riding with half-zipped boots, loose buckles, lazy lacing, or slip-ons that rely on friction is a recipe for separation. The forces during a crash yank at every closure. If zippers creep down or laces give, the boot can peel off. A partially loose boot also lets your foot slosh inside, so the sole doesn't take the hit your arch or toes do, and the ankle can rotate further than it should. What to do instead? Secure everything. Zip fully and lock the zipper tab under the strap. Buckle all straps to a snug, no-heel lift fit. With laces, run them through every eyelet, tie them tight, and then tuck the loops under the laces or strap so nothing loosens or catches. If comfort requires leaving closures undone, you have the wrong size or boot. And for serious riding, avoid true slip-ons. Choose models with internal lacing or external straps that positively lock the boot to your foot. Number 6. Letting laces or straps dangle. Entanglement causes crashes and crush injuries. Long laces, loose strap tails, or flappy pant cuffs can snag on a shift lever, brake pedal, foot peg, or even the chain guard. The classic scenario: you roll to a stop, go to put a foot down, and the lace is looped over the shifter. Your foot can't reach the ground and the bike tips onto your leg. A 400-plus-pound motorcycle pinning your ankle can crack bones by compression alone. At speed, a snag can yank your foot unexpectedly and upset the bike. What to do instead? Eliminate loose ends. Prefer boots with buckles, BOA-style dials, or concealed laces. If yours have standard laces, double knot and tuck the bow and tails under the crossed laces or a retention strap. Use lace keepers or shorter laces if necessary. After gearing up, run a quick snag sweep with your hand around each boot and peg area. Nothing should hang free. Seat strap tails in their keepers. Make this a pre-ride habit just like checking your visor. Number 7. Using the wrong boot for your riding. Great boots still underperform if mismatched to the job. Off-road spills push ankles into violent rotations and crush scenarios when the bike or terrain traps your foot. Soft street boots don't have the rigidity to resist those forces. Conversely, high-speed street and track crashes demand abrasion resistance, lateral bracing, and sliders that let the boot glide across pavement. Casual touring boots may wear through or allow hyperextension during a high side. Using the wrong good boot leaves a gap right where your risk is highest. What to do instead? Match boot design to typical crashes for your riding. Dirt, trail, ADV. Choose off-road or ADV boots with tall plastic exoskeletons, stout buckles, and very stiff shafts. They feel bulky off the bike, but prevent the classic ankle twist when a foot dabs into a rut or a bike lands on you. Sport, track, spirited canyon. Choose sport or race boots with ankle hinges or brace systems, hard cups over the malleoli, and replaceable toe or heel sliders. They resist torsion and slide rather than catch. Street, commuting, touring. Pick high-quality touring boots with real ankle cups, sturdy soles, and locked closures. If you occasionally cross into dirt or track days, consider a second pair dedicated to that use. As your riding evolves, upgrade your boots. Moving from urban errands to long tours or from mellow weekends to track days changes your risk profile. Footwear should change with it. Real-world habits that reduce ankle risk today. Boots on every ride. Treat boots like your helmet, non-negotiable. Secure before moving. Zip, buckle, lace, tuck, then roll. Mind the pegs. Keep balls of your feet on the pegs when not shifting/braking to reduce snag chances and keep ankles away from road strikes. Stand up off-road. When riding dirt or rough ADV, stand through obstacles. Locked knees and stiff ankles in proper boots resist twists better than a seated dangling foot. Replace tired gear. Cracked soles, blown zippers, or crushed ankle cups mean reduced protection. Retire worn boots. Practice emergency stops and low-speed control. Fewer tip-overs means fewer crush events on ankles. The weirdest U-turn trick. No one ever taught you. Number 1. Counterweight lean out. At higher speeds, you and the motorcycle lean together, but at walking pace, you reverse that rule. Keep your upper body more upright while the bike leans in. Slide your hips a few inches to the outside of the turn and load the outside peg to add a stable counterweight. Turn the bars confidently toward full lock. Keep your chest tall, elbows relaxed, and let the machine drop beneath you. This body-bike separation shifts the combined center of mass back over the tire contact patches, so the motorcycle can lean farther without tipping. The payoff is a noticeably tighter turning radius with less effort. Use it anywhere you need maximum steering authority. Urban U-turns, cone drills, tight parking lots, heavy cruisers, and ADV bikes at crawl speed, or on crowned and uneven pavement where balance gets tricky. If you sense a falling feeling mid-turn, don't wrestle the bars or grab the front brake. Instead, keep your vision on the exit. Add a small, smooth drive with the clutch in the friction zone and a light rear brake drag, and continue counterweighting. The chassis will settle, the tires will track, and the bike will finish the arc cleanly. The motorcycle wants to turn your upright torso simply. Number 2. Rear brake drag. Nothing steadies a low-speed motorcycle like a light, steady rear brake drag paired with a gentle, constant throttle. Cover the pedal and press just enough to feel slight resistance, then hold a hair of throttle. That small tug of war puts tension through the chain/belt, smooths driveline lash, settles the rear suspension, and prevents lurching. It also keeps the front end tall, unlike a mid-corner front brake squeeze, which dives the fork and stands the bike up. Use the rear brake to trim speed inside the turn instead of chopping the throttle. If the corner tightens, add a breath more rear brake while keeping the bars turned. If the bike wobbles, maintain the drag and let the chassis recenter. On downhills, this is gold. The drag resists gravity so the bike doesn't run wide. Commit to practicing in an empty lot. Slow circles, figure eights, and U-turns with a whisper of pedal pressure. You'll feel the bike go from twitchy to tranquil almost immediately. Number 3. Friction zone control. Low-speed smoothness comes from a steady engine and variable clutch, not a variable throttle. Set the revs just above idle about 2 to 3,000 on many twins and fours. Then modulate speed with the clutch in the friction zone while keeping that light rear brake drag. Easing the lever out adds a spoonful of drive. Easing it in bleeds a spoonful away. The result is micro-control without surges. This prevents stalls, keeps gyroscopic stability alive, and gives you an instant save if the bike wants to flop. Feed a touch more clutch and the bike stands. Drill it straight line first at walking pace, eyes up, steady throttle, clutch and rear brake doing all the work. Then translate to U-turns. On tall, torquey bikes, this is the difference between a confident pivot and a parking lot nap. Remember the rule: throttle steady, clutch ready. Number 4. The keyhole countersteer flick. When you have a smidge of room, force the bike to lean fast so it turns tight. Approach the U-turn entry at 5 to 8 miles per hour. For a left U-turn, give the bars a brief, crisp nudge right, then immediately turn left toward full lock. That micro countersteer drops the bike into a left lean instantly, letting you carve a much tighter keyhole-shaped arc. Keep your head and eyes locked on the exit. Keep the throttle steady, ride the clutch in the zone, and hold that light rear brake drag. The move feels odd the first time because the bike points away for a heartbeat, then it pirouettes in with surprising ease. Skip this on slick gravel or paint stripes and don't try it from a dead stop. You need a whisper of rolling stability to trigger the lean. In wide lanes or empty lots, it's the cheat code for how did you turn around in that space. Number 5. Full lock from a stop. Starting a U-turn from a complete stop is one of the trickiest moves for any rider because balance is weakest before momentum builds. To make it smooth and stable, set up everything before you move. Turn your handlebars fully in the direction of your turn. If it's a left U-turn, go full left. Let the bike lean slightly into the turn while your inside foot supports its weight. Keep your head and eyes pointed toward your exit, not down at the ground. Now, roll on a little throttle and ease the clutch to the friction point quickly but smoothly, just enough to bring the bike from 0 to 3 to 5 miles per hour in one controlled motion. The goal is to get out of the unstable half-mile-per-hour zone as fast as possible. As the bike begins to move, lift your inside foot onto the peg, apply a light rear brake drag, and keep your inputs steady. The motorcycle will sweep tightly around the turn instead of wobbling or falling inward. This technique works especially well for heavy cruisers, touring, or ADV bikes. Practice both left and right turns in a parking lot using chalked circles until the motion feels automatic and confident every single time. Number 6. Uphill/off-camber U-turns. Side slope and hill turns punish riders who keep the bike too upright. On a crowned road or grade, lean the motorcycle toward the high side of the slope, even if that feels opposite the turn. Load the uphill peg and counterweight more deliberately. Clutch in the zone, slightly higher revs to fight gravity, and a firmer rear brake drag to prevent rollback or runaway. If you're turning to go back downhill, keep the speed creep slow with the rear brake and avoid the front brake mid-lean. If you must pause uphill, hold the bike only with the rear brake. The front won't stop a rollback with the bars turned and can tuck. Eyes go to your exit across the slope, not down at the drop. On loose gravel, stand lightly on the pegs to unweight the bars, keep knees hugging the tank, and use smooth power to avoid spinning the rear. The hill wants to pull the bike downhill. Your uphill lean and rear brake discipline cancel that pull. Common problems and quick fixes. Even skilled riders run into common U-turn issues, but each has a simple correction once you understand the cause. If the bike stands up mid-turn, you're likely squeezing the front brake or rolling off the throttle. Instead, apply a light rear brake drag, ease out a bit of clutch, and keep the lean angle consistent. This stabilizes the chassis and keeps the turn smooth. If stalling keeps scaring you, your throttle is fluctuating. Hold the throttle slightly open around 2,000 RPM and control speed only with the clutch and rear brake. A steady engine note equals steady balance. If you're running wide on exits, your eyes are the culprit. Riders tend to go where they look, so keep your chin pointed toward the exit, not the curb or obstacle. The bike naturally follows your vision. If bars feel heavy or locked, your arms are probably stiff. Loosen your elbows, Keep a light grip and let the handlebars self-steer while you manage body balance. And if your bike feels top-heavy, add more counterweight by shifting your upper body outward and maintaining rear brake pressure. Begin the turn a touch earlier and trust the friction zone to carry you smoothly through. Small adjustments, big difference in control. Street scenarios to try this week. Narrow neighborhood U-turn. Counterweight plus friction zone plus rear brake drag. Aim for a one-lane turnaround. Gas station islands. Keyhole flick around a pump island when clear. Tiny nudge out, full lock in, eyes to the far curb. Driveway on a slope. Full lock from stop, pre-lean, quick launch to balance speed, uphill lean maintained until you're straight. Gravel pull out, stand light on pegs, eyes to exit, clutch smooth, rear brake feathered. No front brake grabs. 9 tricks to stop motorcycle theft in 3 seconds. Guaranteed.
Number 1. Install a loud motorcycle alarm. One of the fastest ways to repel a thief is with sound. A loud, motion-activated alarm turns a quiet target into a loud nightmare. Modern motorcycle alarms use vibration and tilt sensors to detect tampering. Even a slight movement triggers an ear-piercing siren that can reach over 110 decibels. Why it works? Thieves rely on stealth. The moment your alarm goes off, it destroys that advantage. Most criminals aren't willing to keep cutting or tampering while an alarm screams and everyone turns to look. Some alarms also have built-in immobilizers that cut power to the ignition if triggered, adding another barrier. Even in noisy cities where car alarms get ignored, a motorcycle alarm sounds unique, sharp, high-pitched, and impossible to miss. It grabs attention fast and sends the thief running before they can even lift your bike. This single step can cut theft risk dramatically. Number 2. Use a disc brake lock. A disc lock takes seconds to attach, but it's one of the hardest obstacles for a thief to bypass quickly. It clamps onto your brake rotor, preventing the wheel from rolling. If a thief tries to move your motorcycle, the wheel jams almost instantly. For added protection, choose a disc lock with a built-in motion alarm. These not only stop movement, but also scream if the bike is touched, the ultimate double deterrent. Studies have shown that visible locks significantly reduce theft attempts because thieves seek the easiest, quietest job possible. When using a disc lock, always secure it on the front wheel, since that's the first thing thieves try to move. And before you ride off, always remove it. Many riders hang a small reminder strap from the handlebar. This small habit ensures your own safety while keeping thieves away. The takeaway? It takes thieves less than 10 seconds to roll a bike away, but just 3 seconds for you to make it impossible. Number 3. Lock to an immovable object using a heavy chain. If you want to stop a thief dead in their tracks, chain your motorcycle to something that can't move. A thick, hardened steel chain through your frame and around a solid object like a lamppost, ground anchor, or steel fence prevents anyone from simply lifting your bike into a van. Always loop the chain through a non-removable part of the frame or swing arm, not the wheel. Wheels can be detached in seconds. The key is to make the chain as tight to the ground as possible, leaving no slack for leverage. Heavy-duty chains resist bolt cutters, which are the most common tool used in fast thefts. Even if thieves have cutting tools, every extra minute of effort and noise raises their risk of getting caught. That's why professional thieves often skip chained bikes altogether. A chained-down motorcycle takes real effort to move, and most criminals don't have time for that. You do this, and you're no longer the easy target on the street. Number 4. Install a hidden kill switch. A hidden kill switch is one of the oldest, smartest tricks in the book, and it still works flawlessly. This small secret switch disables the ignition or fuel system. You can hide it under the seat, inside the fairing, or even beneath a side panel anywhere out of sight. The idea is simple. Even if a thief hotwires your ignition, the bike won't start without flipping your secret switch. Why it works? Motorcycle theft is all about speed and simplicity. Thieves won't spend more than a few seconds troubleshooting why an engine won't start. The moment your bike doesn't fire, they'll panic and bail out. Newer bikes have electronic immobilizers built into their key fobs, but for older models, This DIY trick can save your ride. It's cheap, takes less than an hour to install, and adds a hidden layer of confusion that most criminals never see coming. A thief might break your ignition, but with your kill switch flipped, the bike is just a hunk of metal that won't move an inch. Number 5. Hide a GPS tracker. Even the best locks can fail, but a GPS tracker can bring your motorcycle back home. Modern trackers are small, affordable, and easily hidden under the seat or inside bodywork. Once activated, they sync to an app and send real-time location data straight to your phone. Some even alert you instantly if the bike moves while the ignition is off. Police recovery rates for bikes with active trackers are dramatically higher, often within hours, not days. Some departments even prioritize tracker-equipped bikes because the location data makes recovery straightforward. This trick doesn't prevent theft, but it ensures the thief doesn't keep your bike for long. Even if the bike is stripped for parts, trackers that transmit to cloud servers can pinpoint chop shops and lead to arrests. Hide your tracker well, away from obvious power connections or underseat wiring. The best location is somewhere that would take a thief over 10 minutes to find, and by then, police are already tracking. Number 6. Always lock your ignition and steering. This is the simplest habit, and one of the most ignored. Always engage your steering lock and remove the key, even if you're stepping away for only a minute. Turning the key to the lock position fixes the handlebars, making it nearly impossible to push or roll the motorcycle in a straight line. Thieves would have to drag or lift it, which is far more conspicuous. The National Insurance Crime Bureau found that many stolen bikes had unlocked ignitions or steering columns, even when parked in public. Don't give them that opening. This lock takes less than 3 seconds to engage. Combine it with your disc lock, and you've just doubled the thief's frustration level. Remember, theft prevention isn't about creating an unbreakable system. It's about making your bike the hardest, noisiest, and most time-consuming target on the street. Number 7. Park smart. Where you park can make or break your bike's safety. Thieves prefer dark, isolated spots, so you should always aim for the opposite. Choose well-lit, visible locations, ideally under a street lamp, near security cameras, or close to an entrance. Parking in high-traffic areas means there's always a witness nearby. If possible, park your motorcycle between larger vehicles or alongside other bikes. A thief will avoid areas where they could be spotted bending over or cutting locks. In group rides, park bikes handlebar to handlebar or close together, so they're physically harder to lift. At home, don't let your garage make you complacent. Use locks indoors, too. Thieves know garages are soft targets they can break in unseen. Lock your ignition, use a chain, and if you can, block your motorcycle with your car. Remember, thieves scout patterns. If you park in the same dark corner every night, you're telling them where to find your bike. Mix it up, keep it visible, and make every stop a hard target. Number 8. Use a plain motorcycle cover. It might seem too simple, but a cover is one of the most underrated theft deterrents there is. A motorcycle cover hides everything: the brand, model, and value. To a thief, a covered bike is an unknown risk. They don't know if it's a cheap commuter or a high-end sport bike, if it's alarmed, or if it's locked underneath. That uncertainty alone can make them move on. The cover also adds a layer of delay. The thief has to pull it off first, and in those few extra seconds, someone could spot them. Choose a plain, unbranded cover. Flashy covers with logos can advertise value. A dull, gray, or black one just blends into the background. Some covers even come with grommets to secure them with a small cable lock, another subtle time waster for criminals. For you, it's a 10-second step. For a thief, it's 10 seconds of doubt. And that's all it takes for them to walk away. Number 9. Build unbreakable habits. The last trick is about consistency, because the biggest security failure is human. Every theft report has a common thread. I only left it for a minute. A rider forgets to lock up or leaves the key in the ignition just to grab coffee, and that's when thieves strike. So make security automatic. Lock your steering every time, even in your own garage. Never leave keys in the ignition, not even for a few seconds. Keep spare keys and documents off the bike. Titles and papers make resale easier for thieves. Don't leave your bike idling unattended. A thief can ride off faster than you can chase. If something feels off, someone watching or loitering, trust your instincts and move your bike. It takes a thief less than 20 seconds to load a motorcycle into a van. But with disciplined habits, you can make those 20 seconds impossible to find. The best theft protection isn't expensive tech. It's your routine. Layer simple steps: a lock, a chain, an alarm, good parking, and awareness. Together, they create a fortress around your motorcycle.
Stop warming up your motorcycle like this. Costly damage. Mistake 1: idling too long. Excessive idling is an old-school myth. Modern multi-grade oils flow well even when cold, so extra idle time just dumps unburned fuel into cold cylinders. A long idle floods the engine with fuel and washes the oil off the cylinder walls. That dilutes lubricant, creates carbon deposits, and accelerates wear on rings and bearings. Early carbureted bikes did need more warm-up, but they only required about a minute or two. Today's fuel-injected bikes idle smoothly in seconds, so sitting longer than needed is wasteful. Consequence: wet, fuel-soaked cylinders mean poor lubrication. Pistons and bearings see extra friction and wear. You'll foul the plug and waste gas. How to do it right: idle only briefly. Once it settles, ride gently off. Moving the bike circulates oil and warms everything much faster and more evenly than idling. In practice, keep the initial idle around 30 to 60 seconds at most, then roll off smoothly. Mistake 2: revving a cold engine. No matter how tempting, don't blip the throttle immediately on a cold engine. When it's cold, internal clearances are tight. Hammering the throttle causes accelerated wear on pistons, valves, and bearings. A sudden high RPM shocks the cold metal and thin oil film, wasting fuel with no benefit. In extreme cases, a rapid rev can actually seize the piston in its bore. Even 4-strokes hate being revved hard when cold. Consequence: engine damage. High revs can score cylinders or bearings before oil fully flows. You're also burning fuel and blowing out raw gas into the exhaust. How to do it right: keep RPM low after start. Let idle stabilize, then gradually roll on throttle. Even as you begin riding, keep the engine tame. Shift early, stay in lower gears, and avoid any hard acceleration until you feel the bike warming up. Mistake 3: misusing the choke. Carbureted bikes need a choke to start, but using it wrong causes trouble. Leaving the choke on too long floods the engine with fuel and washes oil from the bore. Conversely, skipping a choke on a frigid morning can make a carb bike stall. Consequence: too rich running fouls plugs and destroys the oil film. The engine will bog or even stall as it warms. How to do it right: use choke to start, then back it off gradually as the idle smooths. Disable the choke completely as soon as the bike idles cleanly. You'll usually see the idle speed drop. That's your cue to pull the choke. If the engine dies, restart with a tiny choke pulse and try again. For EFI bikes, the computer handles cold fueling, so no choke is needed. Mistake 4: no idle. Warm up at all. Some riders assume they can roar away the moment they fire up. Rushing off immediately is a mistake. After starting, oil pressure needs a moment to build and electronics to stabilize. Slamming it into gear instantly means the engine is still oil-starved during the first few seconds. Consequence: take off with low oil pressure. A cold engine with clutch in gear can lug or stall badly, causing parts to grind. How to do it right: let the engine run briefly at idle to stabilize. Use that time to strap on your helmet or gloves. By the time you're ready, the bike will be nearly ready too. Then roll away gently in first gear at low RPM, shifting early. Let the bike pick up speed slowly. Remember, the first few blocks are just the engine's warm-up run. Mistake 5: lugging the engine. Lugging is when you force your motorcycle to do heavy work at low RPM, and on a cold engine, it's one of the worst things you can do. When oil is cold, it's thicker, and engine parts haven't yet expanded to proper tolerances. Forcing the bike to pull hard in that state is like grinding dry metal together. The result? The engine bogs, vibrates, or stalls, while the crankshaft, bearings, and transmission take serious punishment. Even your clutch plates can slip and overheat as they struggle to keep up. To do it right, use lower gears and keep the revs up slightly around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM until everything's warm. As the lube squad puts it, short shift and avoid lugging during warm-up. A gentle rollout not only prevents wear, but warms the engine evenly and safely. Mistake 6. Burnouts and wheel spinning. Never ever do burnouts to warm up your motorcycle. It's one of the fastest ways to damage your bike without gaining a thing. When you spin the rear wheel at idle, the clutch plates slip and overheat, the chain and tire wear prematurely, and you waste fuel while risking balance or a tip-over. The truth is, a burnout doesn't actually warm your engine or tires evenly. It just stresses your drivetrain. According to motorcycle maintenance experts, clutch replacements caused by repeated burnouts are among the most common self-inflicted repair costs for riders. Instead, idle briefly, then roll away gently and let the natural friction of steady acceleration, braking, and cornering warm up your engine and tires safely. Save the wheelies and burnouts for the track, where your machine's already hot and ready, not your driveway. Mistake 7. Warming up in gear. Idling in gear is a subtle mistake. When in gear, the drivetrain isn't cycling, so the clutch and transmission don't get consistent oil flow and can heat unevenly. Consequence: cold clutch plates and gears get no extra lubrication. There's drag from partial engagement, which can cause wear or noise. It's also unsafe. If you ever slip your foot off the brake, the bike will lunge. How to do it right. Always warm up in neutral. This lets the engine spin freely and build oil pressure into all systems. Only click into gear when you're truly ready to ride, then release the clutch smoothly. Warming up in gear risks unexpected jerks. In neutral, you avoid that entirely. Mistake 8. Ignoring the temperature. Treating every day the same is a mistake. In cold weather, engines, oil, and tires need extra care. For example, oil that's fine in summer may be almost solid in winter, and batteries output far less cold cranking power. Consequence: too little warm-up in frigid temps means oil stays thick and circuits run rich. The bike may struggle to idle, stall, and your tires or brakes will grip poorly until warmed. Conversely, over-idling just wastes fuel and overheats the engine. How to do it right. Adapt your routine. In mild temps, a 30 to 60 second idle is usually sufficient. If it's freezing, extend that to 1 to 2 minutes, and in severe cold, allow up to 2 to 3 minutes of idle. After any idle, shift smoothly and keep revs modest for the first few minutes. As one tip, using a lighter winter-grade oil flows better when cold. Don't forget to quickly check your oil level and tire pressure during that warm-up. Then set off smoothly and let the first few miles finish the warming process. Mistake 9. Warming up indoors. Here's one safety rule many riders overlook but absolutely shouldn't. Never idle your motorcycle inside a closed garage or any enclosed space. Even if the door is slightly open, exhaust fumes quickly fill the area with carbon monoxide, an odorless gas that can cause dizziness, unconsciousness, or death within minutes. The risk far outweighs any warm-up benefit. Do it safely. Start and warm up your bike outdoors or with the garage door completely open, ensuring good airflow. Once the engine runs smoothly, ride away promptly and don't linger indoors while it's running. According to the CDC, over 400 Americans die each year from unintentional carbon monoxide poisoning, often linked to idling vehicles in garages. It takes just a few minutes of exposure to reach dangerous levels, especially in colder months when riders think it's safer to warm up inside. Remember, clean air saves lives by always idle in the open. 9 things you should never do on a motorcycle. Number 1, never ride beyond your skill or limits. Pushing your limits might feel thrilling in the moment, but it's a fast track to disaster. Never let ego or peer pressure trick you into riding above your skill level. Maybe your buddy dives into a corner at 80 miles per hour. That doesn't mean you should. Taking a turn too hot is one of the most common self-inflicted wrecks in motorcycling. Up to 66% of single-vehicle motorcycle crashes happen because the rider went wide in a corner. The lesson? Ride your ride. If a group is riding like they're on a racetrack, drop back. As one expert puts it, if you have to actively try to maintain the pace of the group, you are riding beyond your skill level. There's zero shame in slowing down to stay safe. The real riders will respect you for it. Number 2. Never neglect your pre-ride. Safety check. Before you even roll out of the driveway, give your bike a once-over. Never skip your pre-ride safety check. Your life could depend on it. A motorcycle isn't like a car. If something fails, you don't have a cage to save you. Tires lose pressure or tread. Brake pads wear thin. Chains slacken. Bolts loosen. The list goes on. It takes 2 minutes to inspect the essentials: tire pressure and tread, brakes, lights, oil, and controls. Make sure nothing's leaking or about to fall off. Always check that your motorcycle is in excellent mechanical order. Riding on worn-out tires or faulty brakes can be disastrous. One bad tire can mean no traction in a critical moment. Don't find out the hard way that your brake fluid was low or your tire was dry rotted. A quick pre-ride check is far easier than dealing with an avoidable crash. Number 3. Never ride tired or distracted. If you're exhausted or your head's not in the game, do not get on the bike. Riding a motorcycle takes full mental and physical alertness. Never ride when you're fatigued, drowsy, or emotionally distracted. Studies have shown that being extremely tired impairs you just as badly as being drunk when it comes to reaction time and awareness. Think about that. Riding tired can be as dangerous as riding under the influence. Likewise, if you're upset or angry, your judgment goes out the window. An adrenaline-fueled, pissed-off rider is more likely to speed or make foolish choices. This dramatically raises the chance of a crash. So if you're yawning on your bike or seething over an argument, pull over. Get some rest, cool down, or save the ride for another day. Your brain is your best safety tool. Don't ride without it in peak condition. Number 4. Never assume other drivers see you. On a motorcycle, ride like you're invisible, because to many drivers, you are. Never assume the car next to you or the oncoming driver at an intersection sees you. One of the most dangerous mistakes you can make is trusting that you're visible. The reality is most drivers are distracted or simply not looking for a motorcycle. Always anticipate that the other guy will pull out or cut you off. Position yourself to be seen. Stay out of blind spots. Use your lane positioning to stand out and make sure your headlight is on. High visibility gear or reflective elements can help, but even with those, never trust drivers to notice you. Ride defensively, cover your brakes approaching intersections, and have an escape route. Remember, it's on you to avoid them, not the other way around. As a rule, if you wouldn't do it if you were completely invisible, don't do it on a bike. It just might save your life. Number 5. Never follow too closely. Tailgating in a car is bad. On a motorcycle, it can be fatal. Never follow the vehicle in front of you too closely. Always keep a safe cushion of space. If that car slams on the brakes or swerves, you need time to react and room to maneuver. A good rule of thumb on a bike is at least a 2-second following distance in ideal conditions, and even more, 3, 4, or 5 seconds if traffic or weather is bad. That space isn't just for fun. It gives you precious seconds to brake or swerve if something happens. Remember, motorcycles can stop quickly, but cars behind you might not. If you're too close and have to jam on the brakes, you risk getting rear-ended as well. Riding is not a place for impatience. Back off the throttle, keep your distance, and you'll have a much bigger safety buffer when the unexpected inevitably happens. Number 6. Never panic brake. Mid-corner. Here's a critical riding skill. Never abruptly brake or chop the throttle in the middle of a corner. When you're leaned over in a turn, any sudden change grabbing the front brake or closing the gas can upset the bike's balance instantly. The tires have only so much grip. If you panic brake mid-lean, you risk a skid and a one-way ticket to the pavement. Many riders learn this the hard way when they enter a curve too fast. The bike feels like it's running wide. They freak out and hit the brakes, and down they go. The better move? Set your speed and entry before the turn. If you do find yourself hot in a corner, trust the bike. Look through the turn and lean more rather than stabbing the brakes. Modern motorcycles and tires can corner harder than you think. Remember that most single bike crashes in curves come from rider error, not the bike's capabilities. So never change speed abruptly mid-corner unless you're expertly trail braking. Keep it smooth. Brake before the turn, then roll on the throttle gently through the curve. It's all about maintaining stability and traction. Number 7. Never stare at obstacles. Where you look is where you go. This is the golden rule to beat target fixation and braking. This rule is something you should never do. Target fixation means staring at the hazard you're afraid of. If you lock your eyes on it, guess what? You're very likely to ride right into it. Instead, train yourself to look away from the danger and towards your escape path. Like the pros say, the bike is going to go where you're looking. If there's a pothole or debris, don't look directly at it. Look for a way out, where you want to go. For cornering, look through the turn to where you want to end up, not at the guardrail you're scared of. It sounds simple, but in a panic, our instinct is to zero in on the threat. Fight that instinct. Never fixate on what you're trying to avoid. Keep your eyes up, scan far ahead, and always focus on the safe zone, not the hazard. Number 8. Never ride without an escape plan. When you're on a motorcycle, always have an exit strategy. Never ride boxed in without an escape path. This means you should constantly be aware of where you could go if things suddenly go wrong. Is there a clear shoulder on your right? Is the left lane open? Can you swerve around that car if you had to? If you're following behind a vehicle, offset your position so you're not directly in their tire track that way, you're not staring at their bumper, and you have a path around if they stop short. As one riding coach put it, whenever you are riding, always maintain some sort of escape path in case it hits the fan. Never get complacent and just cruise blindly behind a truck or in between cars with no out. Scan your mirrors often to see what's coming up behind you, especially at stops. For example, at a red light, stop toward a side of your lane and keep the bike in gear. If the car behind isn't slowing down, you have room and readiness to move. Always leave yourself out. It can make the difference between a close call and a deadly collision. Number 9. Never wear gear that compromises your vision or control. Gear should protect you, not endanger you. Always ensure your clothing and equipment aren't creating new hazards. A dark tinted visor at night can severely reduce visibility, making it nearly impossible to spot road hazards in time. Switch to a clear or lightly tinted visor after dark to keep your vision sharp. Loose clothing is another major risk. Shoelaces, baggy pants, or unsecured straps can tangle in your shifter, brake lever, or foot pegs. Riders have had laces snagged and get yanked mid-ride, locking them to the bike and causing crashes. The solution? Tuck in laces, secure all straps, and avoid anything that flaps in the wind. This includes backpacks or cargo nets. Don't let a poor gear choice turn a normal ride into an emergency. Dress smart, ride safe, and eliminate unnecessary risks. 90% of bikers fail in curves because of this.
Number 1. Entering the curve. Too fast. The number one reason riders crash in curves is too much entry speed. When you approach a corner too quickly, you reduce the margin for error and run out of traction to adjust. It's not just new riders. Experienced ones also overestimate what's safe. Once you're leaned over, your tires can't handle big braking inputs. The grip is already shared between turning and traction. When the entry speed's too high, two things happen. You either run wide into oncoming traffic or panic brake mid-corner, standing the bike upright and shooting off the road. Neither ends well. Physics doesn't negotiate no matter your experience. If you ask the tires for more than they can give, they'll let go. Fix. Always slow before the curve, not inside it. The proven formula from the Motorcycle Safety Foundation still rules. Slow look, press roll. Slow down early, look through the curve, press the inside handlebar to initiate lean, and roll on the throttle gently as you exit. Entering at a safe speed gives you a buffer for surprise tightening radii or debris. You can always add throttle later, but you can't brake safely mid-lean. Number 2. Poor line selection. Your cornering line decides how much room you have to maneuver, and most riders pick the wrong one. The common error? Turning in too early. It feels intuitive to hug the inside, but doing that cuts your view short and tightens the turn radius. Midway through, you suddenly find yourself aimed at the outer edge of the lane, forced to lean harder than planned. Many crashes happen at that moment. An early apex essentially trades short-term comfort for long-term trouble. The bike hits the inside of the curve too soon, forcing a sharper exit and eating up precious lane width. If the corner tightens or a car crosses the center line, you're out of options. In contrast, a late apex gives you space, vision, and flexibility. You delay your lean-in slightly, stay wider on entry, and hit the inside later so you exit with the bike already pointed straight. Fix. On public roads, Always favor a delayed or late apex. Start wide, look through the turn, and let the corner come to you. You'll see farther and have more time to react. This single adjustment can cut your cornering risk dramatically and smooth every ride. Number 3. Target fixation. Where you look is where you go. It's that simple and that dangerous. Target fixation happens when your brain locks onto a hazard instead of your path. See a guardrail, a pothole, or a patch of gravel? The instant you stare at it, your hands unconsciously steer toward it. That's why riders who just looked at the ditch for a second end up in it. This reflex is hardwired. Under stress, your eyes focus on the threat, not the solution. But motorcycles go exactly where you look. Staring at the obstacle tells your brain that's the destination. Fix. Train your vision. As you enter a curve, turn your head and look through the exit, not at what scares you. Keep your eyes level with the horizon, scanning for your next reference point. Use peripheral vision for hazards, but never lock on them. If you drift wide, resist the instinct to look at the outside edge and look back into the curve instead. The bike will follow. Pro tip: practice head-lead turns in a parking lot. Keep your chin pointed at the exit before you initiate lean. It rewires muscle memory, so, in a panic, your head naturally looks where you need to go. Number 4. Fear of leaning. Most crashes in curves aren't from running out of grip. They're from riders refusing to use the grip they have. Many believe their bike can't lean farther without falling. In reality, modern motorcycles with good tires can handle lean angles exceeding 40 degrees on dry pavement. Yet most street riders never go past 20. This fear triggers two self-defeating reactions. The rider either stiffens up, preventing further lean, or stands the bike up mid-turn, making the corner even wider. The bike could have made it, but the rider's brain said no. Fix. Build confidence gradually. Practice cornering at moderate speeds in a safe area, leaning a bit more each time to learn how planted your bike feels. Relax your arms, bend your elbows, and stay loose. If you're tense, you fight the bike's natural balance. Use countersteering, a gentle push on the inside bar, to command lean angle instead of shifting weight abruptly. Motorcycle wants to turn if you let it. The tires grip more than you think, and the suspension is designed to hold that lean. The key is staying relaxed, trusting the bike, and looking through the turn instead of fixating on the ground. Number 5. Abrupt braking or throttle changes. Mid-turn. Few things upset a motorcycle more than sudden inputs mid-corner. Grabbing the brakes or chopping the throttle transfers weight instantly, unloading the rear tire and loading the front. The result? The bike either stands up and runs wide or slides out. A common panic move is stabbing the rear brake when realizing the corner's tighter than expected. It feels instinctive, but the rear wheel can skid, snap back, and cause a high side. Likewise, abruptly rolling off the throttle shifts weight forward and reduces rear traction, making the bike unstable. Fix. Smooth control is everything. If you need to slow slightly while leaned, trail brake, that means gently applying the front brake as you tip in, then tapering it off through the apex. This keeps weight balanced and lets you fine-tune speed without shocking the suspension. If you must slow mid-corner, use light pressure, never a grab. And instead of shutting the throttle, roll it on gently after the apex to stabilize the chassis. Think of your hands as dimmers, not switches. Smooth transitions between throttle and brake maintain traction. The bike rewards calm riders the steadier your inputs, the tighter and safer your turns. Number 6. Road hazards and bad surface conditions. Sometimes it's not the rider's skill, but the road itself. Gravel, sand, oil, water, and wet leaves are curve killers. Hitting any of them mid-lean can instantly break traction. In a car, you'd skid a little. On a bike, you're on the ground. Many riders also fail to recognize off-camber curves where the road slopes away from the inside, or decreasing radius turns that tighten mid-corner. Both require extra lean or slower speed. Add rain or cold tires, and the margin disappears fast. Fix. Train your eyes to read the pavement before you lean. Look for shiny or discolored patches, gravel near intersections, or debris near construction zones. If the surface looks questionable, Stay more upright and reduce lean. Use a late apex so you can spot hazards earlier before committing. And remember, traction drops dramatically in rain or cold, halves your lean and doubles your caution. Good riders assume traction is limited until proven otherwise. The best ones never stop scanning. Being proactive and not reactive keeps you upright when the road throws surprises.
Number 7. Riding beyond your skill level. The final reason so many riders crash in curves is ego. Overconfidence, peer pressure, or simply trying to keep up turns many good riders into statistics. You see it on group rides all the time. One person dives into a turn too fast, trying to match the leader's pace, only to drift wide into the guardrail. Even solo riders fall into this trap. After months of riding the same route, confidence turns into complacency. They start pushing harder until one day, the corner tightens or the pavement changes, and they're out of skill to recover. Studies consistently show that riders exceeding their own abilities make up a major portion of single-vehicle crashes. Fix. Ride your own ride. Your speed should always match your skill, not someone else's. If your friends ride faster, let them go. The smartest rider isn't the fastest, it's the one who rides home. Regularly take advanced courses or practice braking and corner drills to expand your limits safely. Confidence grows from training, not from chasing others. Every skilled rider started by mastering the basics slowly and deliberately. The difference between thrill and tragedy often comes down to judgment, not horsepower. 9 motorcycle subcultures ranked from worst to best. Which one is yours? Number 9. Stunt riders. At the bottom of the safety ladder are the daredevils who live for the crowd-pleasing rush. Stunt riders spend weekends balancing on one wheel, scraping plates, and drifting in parking lots. Their bikes lightened supersports like the Yamaha R6 or Kawasaki ZX6R are built for abuse, not safety. The problem isn't their lack of ability. Most have incredible throttle control. It's the environment. Parking lots, traffic lights, and industrial streets become stage sets. One missed clutch release or gravel patch can send both rider and bike flying. Hospitals in large U.S. cities report dozens of trauma cases a year tied to illegal street stunt events. Helmets are sometimes optional, body armor rare, and the obsession with filming the perfect wheelie amplifies risk. They're skilled, but in the wrong arena, that skill turns lethal. Number 8. Sport bike street racers. Step slightly up the ladder, and you meet the high-octane street racing crowd. These riders pilot leader-class superbikes like the Suzuki GSX-R 1000, Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R, or Ducati Panigale 5.4, machines engineered for the track but unleashed on freeways. U.S. crash data show sport bikes involved in fatal wrecks at rates roughly 400% higher than cruisers and nearly 60% of riders under 30. That combination of youth, power, and ego is a volatile mix. They ride with elbows tucked and visors tinted, weaving through traffic at 100 miles per hour, convinced skill alone keeps them safe. In truth, public roads are unpredictable. Oil patches, cross-traffic, and distracted drivers make them death traps. Many racers underestimate braking distances or overlean into blind curves. A split-second misread becomes a fatal slide. These are the riders most likely to be featured in viral crash compilations: fast, fearless, and frequently unlucky. Number 7. Cafe racers and ton-up boys. Romance meets risk here. Cafe racer culture celebrates 1960s-style polished tanks, rear sets, and race between cafes nostalgia. The bikes look amazing. Triumph Bonneville, T100S, Honda CB750S, or home-built customs stripped to bare metal. But many of these machines lack modern safety systems like ABS or traction control. Narrow tires, stiff forks, and aging brakes mean one panic stop can lock the wheel instantly. Their riders often dress for aesthetics, open-face helmets, leather jackets without armor, more James Dean than DOT. The subculture values individuality over caution, so technical upkeep can lag behind appearance. On U.S. backroads, cafe riders are frequently overrepresented in single-vehicle crashes caused by loss of control in corners. The irony is that they're not usually reckless. Their vintage equipment just isn't forgiving when physics gets real. Number 6. Street fighters and naked bike riders. Modern, muscular, and deceptively tame. That's the Street Fighter crowd. Picture a Yamaha MT-09, Ducati Monster, or Triumph Street. Triple stripped of fairings and loaded with torque. The upright stance feels friendly, but twist the throttle and these bikes surge forward like rockets. Many new riders migrate here, thinking naked bikes are beginner-friendly because they look simpler than supersports. The truth? They're just as quick, with less wind protection to warn you how fast you're going. The sudden acceleration can lift the front wheel unintentionally, and powerful brakes can pitch a rider forward. Forums are full of stories where an inexperienced owner looped a Street Fighter in second gear. Even seasoned riders admit these bikes demand smooth throttle work. Most crashes happen at urban speeds, a throttle blip exiting a gas station, or a late grab at the front brake mid-turn. Street Fighters teach humility fast. Number 5. Cruisers and choppers. Heavy, chrome-covered, and proud, the cruiser tribe is iconic. Harley-Davidson, Softails, Indian Chiefs, Honda Shadows, and Yamaha V-Stars dominate America's highways. These bikes roll slow and steady, and that attitude translates into lower crash rates. According to NHTSA summaries, cruiser riders are involved in fatal crashes far less often than supersport owners. Still, their weight brings unique hazards. At parking lot speeds, a simple drop can crush an ankle or knee. Cornering requires muscle, big cruisers respond sluggishly, and overleaning can scrape hard parts and unbalance the bike. Many veterans practice slow-speed drills religiously for that reason. Group rides and charity runs keep them disciplined. There's an unspoken rule of respect in formation riding. They may not corner the fastest, but they respect physics and gear up properly. Within the culture, you'll find safety briefings at every meetup. That consistency keeps this tribe solidly mid-pack. Number 4. Touring enthusiasts. Cross-country specialists earn their reputation for control and endurance. Touring riders glide along interstates on Honda Goldwings, BMW K1600s, or Harley Road Glides, clocking thousands of miles a season. Their bikes are loaded with safety tech, ABS, traction control, adaptive headlights, airbag vests, and tire pressure sensors. Riders in this category tend to be older and meticulously trained. They plan rest stops, monitor fatigue, and communicate with Bluetooth headsets. Because they treat every trip like a mission, incidents are rare and often mild tip-overs in parking lots, low-speed drops during U-turns. Long-distance fatigue is the bigger threat. After 6 hours on the slab, even experienced riders can drift mentally. But overall, touring enthusiasts demonstrate the safest road habits: smooth throttle, perfect spacing, and no impulsive overtakes. They ride like pilots, methodical, calm, and always within margins. Number 3. Adventure and dual sport riders. Adventure riders blend highway skill with off-road precision. Their bikes, BMW GS Series, KTM Adventure, 890, Honda Africa Twin, Triumph Tiger, are tall, versatile machines that can cross deserts or commute downtown. These riders typically invest in professional training, balance control, emergency braking on gravel, and navigation under pressure. Because they face unpredictable surfaces, they're naturally alert to traction and vision skills that save lives on asphalt too. They ride in full armor, knee braces, ADV jackets, hydration packs, GPS beacons. Studies from rider training associations note that dual sport enthusiasts have some of the lowest fatal crash ratios per mile traveled because they maintain constant situational awareness. Even their spills are controlled. They know how to ditch a bike safely and walk away. When accidents happen, they're usually solo and off-road bruised pride, not broken bones. If caution and preparedness had a face, it would be wearing a dusty ADV helmet. Number 2. Dirt bike and motocross riders. Off-road racers take second place not because they're immune to crashes, far from it, but because their environment minimizes deadly outcomes. Motocross riders spend hours flying over jumps on KTM SXF, Yamaha YZ, or Honda CRF machines. They fall often, but on soft dirt, in full protective gear, without traffic or guardrails. Their reflexes are razor-sharp from constant balance correction. When they transition to street bikes, those same reflexes make them exceptionally cautious in traffic. They anticipate traction changes and body position instantly. Injury rates in motocross are high, but fatalities are rare. The danger lies in broken bones, not collisions with cars. In short, they crash better than almost anyone else. Years of practice teach them how to land, slide, and protect the bike instinctively. The only reason they're not number one is that street unfamiliarity sometimes catches them off guard when they leave the dirt behind. Number 1, track day enthusiasts and highly trained riders. At the top sit the pros, or at least the riders who train like them. Track day enthusiasts treat riding as a craft, not a thrill. They rent circuits, take coaching, and invest in safety gear that would make MotoGP proud. Airbag race suits, back protectors, reinforced boots, and full-face helmets. Every session teaches throttle control, corner entry, and emergency braking at the limit, skills that translate perfectly to street safety. Ironically, the fastest riders on the track become the slowest, most composed riders on public roads. They've seen what happens when grip runs out at 120 miles per hour, and they respect every car and corner. Accident data show that trained riders with advanced certification courses are 50% less likely to be involved in serious crashes than untrained riders. Track enthusiasts also mentor others, spreading ATGATT, all the gear, all the time culture through local groups. They embody controlled speed, discipline, and mastery. Among all rider tribes, they're the ones most likely to come home in one piece every time. This trick saves riders from number 1. Deadly crash, but almost nobody practices it. Trick number 1, the Smidsy weave. So how do you stop being invisible? Here's the trick that could literally save your life. The SMYDSY weave, also known as the SIAM maneuver. This is a small, subtle movement within your lane designed to catch a driver's eye before they turn across your path. Here's how it works. As you approach an intersection, gently weave side to side within your lane about half a lane's width. Keep it smooth and controlled, not dramatic. You're not showing off, you're showing up. Why it works? The human brain is wired to detect motion across its field of vision, not straight-on objects. A motorcycle heading directly toward a car can appear stationary until it's too late. But a little side-to-side movement activates the driver's motion sensors suddenly. They see you. Tips to do it safely. Stay in your lane without crossing the center line. Maintain steady speed. Start weaving early enough that you're visible before they commit to the turn. Always plan an escape route. The weave is a visibility tool, not magic armor. It might feel weird at first, but it's been proven effective by advanced rider coaches in the UK, New Zealand, and Australia. Professional trainers teach it because it taps straight into human perception science, and it works. Number 2, cover your front brake. Even with perfect visibility, drivers still make mistakes, and when they do, reaction time is everything. At 30 miles per hour, your bike travels about 44 feet per second. If you take just half a second to move your hand from the throttle to the brake lever, you've already gone 22 feet before even starting to slow down. That's why advanced riders always cover their front brake, keeping 2 fingers resting on the lever while cruising, especially near intersections or traffic. The benefit? You eliminate that reaction delay. The moment something happens, you're already braking, not thinking about braking. Here's how to practice safely. Keep 2 fingers on the front brake when approaching any junction or car waiting to turn. Squeeze progressively, never grab. Feel the suspension compress before applying full pressure. Use both brakes, but remember, the front provides 70% of your stopping power. Covering the brake isn't just about shaving milliseconds. It makes your braking smoother, faster, and more stable. Combine it with the SMIDSY weave, and you gain the twin advantage of being seen and ready to react. Number 3. Master SIPDE or C. The best riders don't just react, they predict. They ride like chess players, thinking 3 moves ahead. That's the philosophy behind SIPDE, or sometimes called C. Scan, identify, predict, decide, execute. Let's break that down. Scan. Constantly move your eyes near, far, left, right mirrors. Look for motion, gaps, glints of chrome. Identify. Spot threats, cars waiting to turn, pedestrians, slippery spots. Predict, ask, what could this person do to mess up my ride? Assume they might. Decide, pick your plan, slow down, change lane position, and cover the brake. Execute. Commit smoothly and confidently. It sounds simple, but this mindset changes everything. Instead of reacting to danger, you're always a few seconds ahead of it. You start noticing patterns. A car creeping forward, a driver not looking your way, or brake lights in the distance. Practicing SIP D or C makes your brain a radar constantly scanning, evaluating, and adjusting. It's how seasoned riders anticipate disaster before it happens. Number 4, ATGATT. You can't control every driver, but you can control your protection. All the gear, all the time, isn't just a motto, it's a mindset. Here's what the data says. Helmets are 37% effective in preventing rider deaths and 67% effective in preventing brain injuries, according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Riders without helmets are 3 times more likely to suffer serious brain trauma. Only 17 U.S. states currently enforce full helmet laws, meaning the rest is up to your personal responsibility. And it's not just about the helmet. Jackets with armor, gloves, riding pants with knee and hip protection, and sturdy boots dramatically cut down the severity of injuries. Most fatal motorcycle crashes happen on short, daytime rides in good weather, the moments when riders often skip their gear. So even if you're just running to the store, suit up. The gear you leave behind can't save you later. Number 5. Countersteering and trail braking. Here's a fun fact. Once you're going over about 10 miles per hour, you don't actually steer a motorcycle the way you think. You countersteer, push left to go left, push right to go right. That little counterintuitive push initiates the lean that turns your bike. It's also the key to fast, controlled swerves when something suddenly blocks your path. Pro tip. Practice quick countersteers in a parking lot. It builds instinctive muscle memory for emergency maneuvers. Now, combine that with trail braking, a technique where you gently keep braking as you enter a corner, gradually easing off as you lean. This keeps weight on the front tire, giving you more traction and control. Old school riders used to say, never brake in a corner. Modern coaches say the opposite. Brake smartly into corners. Trail braking reduces lean angle and helps you tighten your line if something unexpected shows up mid-turn. Both skills, countersteering and trail braking, are part of the Advanced Rider's Toolkit. They give you options when most riders freeze. Number 6. Emergency braking mastery. Most riders think they know how to brake hard until they actually need to. Here's how the pros do it. Keep the bike upright and straight. Apply both brakes together, front first, rear immediately after. Don't grab or stomp, squeeze smoothly, and increase pressure progressively. If the rear locks, stay steady. Don't release until you stop. If the front locks, release and reapply immediately. Practice this in an empty parking lot. Start at 15 miles per hour, then 25, then 35. Feel how much shorter your stopping distance gets when you use both brakes correctly. This one habit can turn a collision into a close call. It's not dramatic, it's not flashy, but it's pure survival. Bonus habits that save lives. Ride sober. Alcohol is a factor in over 40% of single-vehicle motorcycle fatalities, according to NHTSA. Maintain your machine. Good tires, firm brakes, and clean suspension mean control when you need it. Stay visible. High-vis jackets, reflective gear, and auxiliary lights make you pop in mirrors and intersections. Train regularly. Advanced courses like MSF or police-style clinics sharpen all these skills from braking to low-speed control. Riding isn't about luck. It's about stacking the odds in your favor. And there you have it, the trick that could literally save your life. Remember, every ride could be the one where a driver doesn't see you, but now you've got the tools to make sure they do. If this video opens your eyes, smash that like button, subscribe for more real-world riding wisdom, and share this with every rider you know, because the more of us who ride smart, the fewer of us end up as statistics. Big shout out to everyone who gears up, trains hard, and rides safely. You're the reason the road stays alive. Stay sharp, stay visible, and I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe, legends. Practice this for 15 minutes and you'll drive 10 times better. Number 1, friction zone. Mastery. Ever feel jerky during takeoff or nervous during slow maneuvers? That's friction zone trouble. The friction zone is the narrow point in your clutch lever's travel where your engine begins to engage the rear wheel. To train it, Find a straight parking line or mark 2 points about 20 feet apart. With the bike in first gear, ease out the clutch until the bike creeps forward. Don't add too much throttle, let the clutch do the work. Your goal: smooth, walking speed launches without lurching or stalling. Roll forward for 10 to 15 feet, clutch in, stop, repeat. Do this 10 times. Bonus drill: add slight rear brake pressure as you roll. This settles the bike and increases your control. Keep your head up and your eyes forward. This drill teaches the exact finesse needed for stop-and-go traffic, U-turns, and any parking lot moves. Number 2, emergency braking. Stopping quickly is one of the most important survival skills on a motorcycle. Yet few riders practice it. Here's how to build serious stopping power. Mark a line, ride toward it at 15 to 20 miles per hour, and when your front wheel hits that line, squeeze the front brake firmly while pressing the rear. Start light, then add pressure fast, don't grab. Think progressive squeeze. Most stopping power comes from the front brake. Train your hands to modulate that power without panicking. Eyes stay forward, body stays upright. Once comfortable, raise the entry speed slowly. With repetition, your muscle memory will develop, and you'll stop shorter, smoother, and with confidence. In emergencies, hesitation kills this drill and removes it. Number 3, tight U-turns and figure eights. Dropping your bike during a tight U-turn? Yeah, we've all seen it, and it's 100% avoidable with a little practice. Tight turns aren't just for showing off, they're where real bike control begins. Set 2 markers about 20 feet apart and start riding figure eights between them. Keep the clutch in the friction zone, throttle steady, and feather that rear brake to stay smooth. The real trick? Turn your head and look where you want to go. Seriously, your bike follows your eyes. Keep your upper body upright and let the bike lean beneath you. Start wide, then slowly shrink the turns as your confidence builds. Repeat the drill both ways to stay balanced. Want a real challenge? Try staying inside a single parking spot. It's not about speed, it's about control. Nail this, and those awkward, foot-dragging U-turns will be a thing of the past. Low-speed mastery starts here. Number 4, slalom weave. Set up cones or markers in a straight line, about 10 feet apart. Ride through them at a jogging pace, weaving smoothly from side to side. Here's the key. Initiate each turn by gently pressing the handlebar in the direction you want to go left, right to go right. This is countersteering, and while it feels subtle, it's incredibly effective once you get the hang of it. Keep your throttle steady and fix your gaze 2 cones ahead, not just the one in front. That helps maintain flow and prevents last-second corrections. As your control improves, challenge yourself by narrowing the spacing or slightly increasing your speed. This drill builds smooth, confident lean transitions and sharpens your ability to swerve quickly, skills you'll need to dodge real-world threats like potholes, debris, or sudden lane changes. It also improves your feel for how your bike naturally wants to turn. Number 5, quick swerves. Imagine a car cuts into your lane or debris appears in your path you don't always have time to brake. Enter the swerve drill. Place 2 markers as the hazard zone, then ride toward them at 20 miles per hour. When you reach a decision point, press hard on the bars to lean and swerve around one side. Don't brake during the swerve and maintain throttle. Once past the hazard, straighten up using countersteering. Eyes go to the escape path, not the obstacle. Staring at the hazard locks your path into its classic target fixation. Mix up your swerve direction, left, right combos. This drill hardwires your response to real-world threats. And when the moment comes, you won't flinch, you'll swerve. Number 6, cornering technique. Smooth cornering is the signature of a confident rider. Practice this with cones marking a basic curve or use a wide-open corner. The method is simple. Slow, look, press, roll. First, slow down before the turn. Then, look through the curve and turn your head, not just your eyes. Press on the inside handlebar to initiate lean. Then gently roll on the throttle to stabilize. Avoid braking mid-turn. If you enter too hot and try to adjust inside the corner, you'll upset the suspension, and that's how bikes slide. The key is to set your speed early and trust your line. Do it over and over until it feels like one smooth movement. Cornering is where good riders shine. This drill gives you that edge. Number 7. 360 degrees. Awareness. Bike control is only half the game. Awareness is what keeps you out of trouble. While running any parking lot drill, build the habit of scanning constantly. Check your mirrors every 5 to 10 seconds. Mentally track where nearby cars are, note your blind spots, and always identify an escape route. When stopped, watch your mirrors for traffic coming up behind. On the move, widen your scan. Look beyond the road ahead to side streets, parked cars, pedestrians, and brake lights in the distance. Train your brain to assume every vehicle is a potential threat until proven otherwise. The best riders ride with eyes up, head on a swivel, and decisions made seconds in advance. This mental discipline isn't automatic, it's trained. Blend it with your physical control drills, and you'll develop the instincts of a seasoned rider. Stay sharp, and you'll rarely be surprised by what's coming. Number 8. Relax and stay loose. Tension is the enemy of control. Ever feel wobbly or stiff in the bars? That's your own body fighting the bike. Practice riding with relaxed arms and a light grip. Your elbows should be loose, shoulders down, and hands neutral. No death grip. Pretend you're holding baby birds firm but gentle. As you ride, do body check-ins. Are you clenched? Relax. Are your knees floating? Grip the tank lightly. When hitting a bump or groove, don't fight it. The bike's geometry wants to self-correct. Let it. Staying loose allows the suspension and chassis to work properly, especially in corners or rough pavement. The difference is immediate. You feel in sync, not in conflict. Number 9. Brake then swerve. Here's the real-world lifesaver, combining emergency braking with a quick swerve. Set a marker to represent a sudden hazard. Ride toward it at about 30 miles per hour. At the marker, apply firm, straight-line braking to scrub speed, then immediately release the brakes and swerve sharply around the obstacle. The golden rule: never brake and swerve at the same time. Doing both together can overload your tire's grip and cause a slide. Keep them separate brakes first, then steer. Practice swerving both left and right, since real-world threats can hit from either side. Always look toward your escape path, not at the hazard your bike follows your eyes. Repeat the sequence until it's muscle memory. Brake, release, swerve, recover. When this becomes automatic, you'll have a reliable last-ditch maneuver in your toolkit, something that could literally mean the difference between a scare and a serious crash. Riders who train this way react instinctively when danger appears. Those who don't, they freeze. Build this into your weekly practice and you'll have a weapon most riders don't even know exists. Motorcycle owners never do this before refueling. 75% get it wrong. Mistake 1. Leaving the engine running. One of the simplest and riskiest mistakes is fueling with the engine still on. Why is this bad? The bike's ignition system and exhaust pipes are hot, and fuel vapors are extremely flammable. Just a drop of gasoline in the right spot can ignite if it hits a hot header or a spark. Safety guidelines are blunt. Turn off the vehicle's engine while refueling. That means kill the ignition key or hit the kill switch before you lift the nozzle. Many modern bikes leave electrical components powered. Even when you kill the engine, the kill switch only cuts the spark, not everything. It takes an extra second to turn the key off, so do it. No circuit should be live at the pump. Mistake 2. Staying straddled on the bike. Next up, staying on the bike during fueling. It feels convenient to perch on the saddle, but it's a hidden hazard. Sitting on the bike in full gear can build up static electricity, and you lose your reference to ground. In other words, you're more likely to get a little static zap when you step off and touch metal at the pump. Even worse, if gasoline splashes or ignites, you want to be off and clear. Always dismount and stand on solid ground first. Take your helmet off and you'll smell or hear any problem faster. And before you grab the nozzle, touch a metal part of the bike to discharge any static. Mistake 3. Loose or unsecured fuel cap. Leaving your fuel cap loose or not fully locked might seem harmless, but it can quickly cause real trouble. When the cap isn't sealed tightly, gasoline vapors escape and allow moisture or dirt to sneak into the tank, both of which can clog injectors and trigger warning lights. According to experts at ghostenergy.com, even a small air leak at the cap can upset the bike's vapor system, reduce fuel efficiency, and cause the check engine light to appear. The safety risk is even greater. Spilled fuel can drip onto a hot engine or exhaust and ignite. Manufacturers warn riders to always close and lock the fuel cap before remounting, and to turn it until it clicks. That sound confirms the pressure seal is secure. If your cap or gasket is cracked, replace it immediately with an OEM part. Cheap replacements may not seal correctly. Simply taking 5 seconds to double-check your fuel cap after every fill-up can prevent leaks, engine issues, and even a potential fire. Mistake 4. Rushing the fill. Pumping fuel too quickly might seem efficient, but it's one of the most overlooked fueling mistakes riders make. Motorcycle tanks are small, and high-flow gas pumps designed for cars and trucks can easily overpressurize them. Filling too fast traps air inside the tank, forcing gasoline back up the filler neck or out the breather hose. That can result in dangerous spills, fuel vapors, or even splashes of gas onto the paint or exhaust. Manufacturers warn that pressurized air in the fuel tank can force gasoline to escape when fueling too quickly. The right way is simple. Pump slowly and stop as soon as the nozzle clicks off. Don't top off after that extra fuel only floods the vapor system and can cause leaks once the bike warms up. Always leave a small air gap at the top of the tank for expansion. Taking it slow at the pump keeps your fuel system healthy, prevents spills, and reduces fire risk near hot parts. Mistake 5. Overfilling the tank and locking the nozzle. Many riders try to squeeze an extra drop of fuel in at the end, and some even lock the pump handle to do it. Gas pumps are designed to shut off automatically when the tank hits its limit. Forcing more fuel in or jamming the lever will only cause overflow. Then gasoline dribbles out of the filler neck or vent tubes, right onto your paint or the engine. Even a small spill can be dangerous. Spilled gas on a hot exhaust or electrical part can ignite in an instant. Instead, gently squeeze the lever and let the pump click off, then release immediately. Wipe up any drips and never leave the pump unattended. Mistake 6. Using the wrong fuel. This one might sound too obvious, but you'd be amazed how often it happens, especially at unfamiliar stations. Putting the wrong fuel in your bike can ruin cylinders, foul spark plugs, and corrode the fuel system. Many modern bikes require premium, high-octane gasoline to avoid engine knock. Pour regular or the wrong octane into them, and you'll hear pinging, feel less power, or even melt a piston. On the other hand, never put diesel into a petrol bike. Diesel simply won't combust properly and will wreck the engine. Always double-check the pump label before you fuel. A handy tip: put a sticker on your fuel cap with the correct fuel type so you never second-guess it. Mistake 7. Parking on a lean or incline. You might not think parking angle matters when fueling, but it does. If your bike is leaned way over on the side stand or parked on a slope, the fuel in the tank will tilt and may hide air pockets. On bikes with oddly shaped tanks or dual side tanks, this can cause one side to overflow while the other still has room. The fix? Park on level ground if you can, and use the stand that keeps the bike upright. If you have a center stand, use it during fueling. It holds the bike perfectly vertical. If you only have a kickstand, double-check that it's fully down on solid ground and put the bike in gear so it can't roll away. Mistake 8. Getting distracted. This one sounds obvious, but you'd be surprised. Every year, people catch fire at the pump by multitasking. Pulling out your phone or lighting a cigarette while fueling is shockingly common and extremely risky. Gasoline pumps encourage static. Even dialing your phone or touching a payment terminal can create a spark. Remember, any spark is bad news when fuel is in the air. Never smoke at the pump and keep your phone stowed. Focus on fueling first. Kill the engine, hold the nozzle steady, and watch the meters. Treat that minute like a quick safety drill, then pay up after you've finished. Mistake 9. Skipping the cool down. Don't rush to fuel if your bike is still screaming hot from the road. Give it a minute or two to cool off. Hot metal stays hot. Exhaust headers and engine cases can remain well above gasoline's ignition temperature for quite a while. If any fuel splashes onto those parts, it could ignite even with the engine off. Also keep in mind that warm fuel expands. In fact, Army fuel safety tips explicitly say to leave room for expansion when fueling, especially in heat. If your bike is scorching, fuel fuel will try to force its way out if the tank is totally full. Stop a hair short of full and give it a moment to settle. Think of it like a pressure cooker. Let it release a bit before capping off. That little headspace and cooling period will keep the ride home trouble-free. Each of these fueling mistakes is easy to avoid with a little care and common sense. Stand off the bike with the engine cut, double-check your pump selection, park level, and treat fueling like a quick safety drill. Do that, and your next stop at the pump will be smoother and safer, and you'll keep your bike out of trouble. 7 motorcycle trends that need to die. Stop the madness. Number 1. Pay-to-play features and demo modes. Imagine buying a motorcycle only to find that key features like traction control or cruise control disappear after a trial period. Sounds dystopian, right? Unfortunately, this is now a reality. Some manufacturers preload bikes with advanced features, but disable them after a few hundred miles, unless you pay extra. You're essentially buying a half-functional bike and renting the rest. Even worse, if a payment fails or a glitch occurs, you might lose access to safety features mid-ride. This practice treats riders as subscription holders, not owners, and it turns motorcycles from machines of freedom into locked-down devices that demand constant payments. No one should have to worry about software limitations while leaning into a corner. Basic riding functions like stability control, quick shifters, or navigation should come standard if advertised. If you're paying full price for the bike, you should get the full bike. Number 2. MotoGP winglets on street bikes. Winglets and fancy aero bits are all over modern superbikes. Inspired by MotoGP, manufacturers bolt on little airplane wing shapes to their fairings, claiming they increase downforce and stability. They do work in racing. On track at 150+ miles per hour, winglets can reduce wheelies and add grip. But on public roads, the effect is minimal and largely aesthetic. As one expert pointed out, as soon as speed drops, the wind force drops, so at normal highway or city speeds, the downforce is nearly negligible. In practical terms, you're paying extra for weight and complexity without a real benefit. And if their main purpose is to suppress wheelies or put more power down, why perform wheelies on public roads in the first place? That defeats the safety rationale entirely. Active aerodynamic systems are even in development, which shows how far this is from utility. Riding on the street, you'd gain much more by investing in quality tires and suspension setup than on stickers of MotoGP tech. We're not against cool looks. Winglets do look badass, but remember, form follows function. If you want a sporty style, fine. But don't buy winglets expecting them to change your everyday ride. Know that unless you're heroically thrashing on a closed track, they're mostly for show. Number 3. Adventure and scrambler bikes. That can't adventure. Adventure bikes are in fashion, and retro scramblers are everywhere, but most of them are built for pavement, not dirt. Yes, they have knobby tires and high exhaust pipes. But under the styling, many so-called ADV or scrambler bikes are heavy, under-suspended, and tuned for street riding. Try to ride one through real trails or muddy hills, and you'll quickly find their limits. High weight, limited suspension travel, and poor traction can make off-roading with these bikes dangerous, especially for newer riders. Marketing loves to show these bikes leaping rocks and splashing through streams. But the truth is, they struggle outside smooth gravel. If you're serious about off-road riding, look for purpose-built dual sports or true adventure models. Think lighter frame, taller suspension, and wider bars, not just a cosmetic makeover. Otherwise, you risk being stranded off-road with a bike that was never built for it. Buying a bike that only looks like it can go anywhere is one trend that needs to stop fooling riders. Number 4. Stunts on public roads. It's impossible to ignore. Your feed is full of wheelies, stoppies, no hands riding, and high-speed lane weaving. Most of it happens on public roads. And while it might rack up views, it's also racking up deaths, arrests, and injuries. Young riders, especially, are tempted to mimic these stunts without proper training or safety gear. Cities report spikes in illegal stunt riding and crashes involving minors or unlicensed riders. And these aren't just isolated incidents. Some areas are dealing with entire night crews turning public roads into stunt arenas. Let's be clear. Stunts are a legitimate skill on a closed course. But when done in traffic, around pedestrians, or at high speeds, they become reckless endangerment. Worse, they reinforce the stereotype that all riders are irresponsible. This social media stunt culture puts lives and reputations at risk. The safest, most skilled riders often go unnoticed because they ride clean, controlled, and smart. Number 5. Ear-splitting exhausts. Myth. Many riders believe a louder exhaust makes them safer by alerting drivers. But here's the problem. The sound travels behind you, not in front where most accidents happen. Studies and real-world cases show that loud pipes don't consistently reduce crashes. Instead, they often irritate the public, trigger stricter laws, and give all riders a bad name. Cities around the world are cracking down on noise violations, and getting caught with illegal decibel levels can mean hefty fines or even impoundment. Beyond legal risks, excessively loud bikes can startle nearby drivers, making them more unpredictable, not safer. Plus, long-term exposure to high decibel exhausts can damage your own hearing. Riding should be thrilling, not deafening. Want to be noticed? Wear high-vis gear, position yourself strategically in traffic, and use your horn when it counts. A deep, tuned exhaust tone is great, but turning your motorcycle into a rolling siren isn't. Noise should never replace good riding technique. This is one trend that needs to die for good. Number 6. Overdone custom mods. Customizing bikes is fun up to a point. The trend of extreme low-slung choppers, ultra-long swing arms, or minimalistic street fighters often looks striking in photos, but many such mods compromise real-world safety and performance. As Viking Bags notes, flashy builds appear impressive on the internet, but end up unsafe in daily use. For example, adding a very long swing arm and slammed suspension may look violent, but it slows steering response and makes cornering clumsy. Removing even one front brake is incredibly dangerous. That single brake provides the bulk of stopping power. These kinds of sacrifices for style can cost lives. Other common mods that harm safety include cutting fog lights or removing mirrors. Without mirrors or turn signals, other road users literally can't see you. And if you lower the rear end too much, your custom bike will scrape engine parts on every corner. A pleasing deep exhaust tone or a small fairing can look good without ruining function. Always ask, does this mod help me ride better or just look better? If it's only for show at the expense of braking, suspension, or visibility, it's a trend that needs to die. Number 7. Tech overload. Today's bikes are increasingly packed with features. Fancy LCD screens, multiple ride modes, traction control, smartphone apps, etc. While some tech like ABS brakes and traction control does enhance safety, the trend of adding every new gadget and forcing riders to use it can backfire. Manufacturers often brag about high-tech dashboards and built-in apps, but most riders barely scratch the surface of those features. The downside? Complexity and cost. Every extra electronic system is another point of potential failure. When something goes wrong, it often requires dealer-only diagnostics or expensive repairs. For a new rider, a barrage of options can be overwhelming. Is it really safer to have 5 ride modes and menu-driven settings if you're learning basic control? Many experienced riders note that excessive electronics can even dull the feel of throttle or brakes. Some bikes now force you to subscribe or log into apps just to use navigation or other functions. That blends into the next trend of paywalls for features. As Viking Bags warns, motorcycles should be machines you own outright, not devices you rent in monthly installments. Any system that complicates or frustrates riders more than it helps is a trend to rethink. So if you want to learn tricks, take it to a track day, stunt school, or safe location. The rest of us on the road didn't sign up to be part of your viral video. Let's end this dangerous trend before it ends someone's life. Top 9 rider habits to brake for increased control. Number 1. Fearing the front brake. One of the most common and dangerous beginner mistakes is being afraid of the front brake. Many riders rely mostly on the rear brake or hesitate to touch the front lever, assuming it will cause an instant flip. In reality, the front brake provides nearly 70% of a motorcycle's stopping power, according to insurance. HarleyDavidson.com. Avoiding it drastically increases stopping distance and limits control in emergencies. Imagine approaching a red light at speed and pressing only the rear brake. You'll likely lock the wheel, skid, or run wide. Proper braking starts with technique and trust. In normal or emergency stops, begin with a smooth, gentle squeeze of the front lever, allowing the bike's weight to transfer forward and load the tire. Then progressively increase pressure as traction builds. Always use both brakes together, head up and eyes forward. Practice builds confidence. Controlled use of the front brake rather than fear transforms panic into precision and keeps both you and the bike stable under stress. Number 2. Death grip and rigid posture. A tight, locked arm posture is another hidden enemy of control. Riders who grip the bars like they're hanging on for life quickly fatigue, lose steering feel, and struggle to absorb bumps. According to jeopardize.com, this death grip disconnects you from the bike's natural motion. Tension stiffens your shoulders and arms, preventing the front suspension and tires from doing their job. The solution is simple. Relax. Keep your spine upright but not stiff. Drop your shoulders and grip the bars lightly, firm enough to steer, loose enough to breathe. Bend your elbows slightly to act as natural suspension, and let your knees hug the tank to anchor your body. When your arms are free, the bike moves beneath you instead of against you. Try loosening your grip during a smooth ride, and you'll feel the handling instantly improve. A relaxed rider reacts faster, steers more accurately, and can ride longer without exhaustion or discomfort. Number 3. Looking down instead of ahead. Where you look is where you go. Many new riders make the mistake of staring at the ground or fixating on one obstacle, a habit that severely limits reaction time. When your gaze drops, your bike naturally follows it, leading you straight toward the hazard you hoped to avoid. Good riders constantly scan ahead, ideally about 12 seconds down the road, as suggested by luckybike.com. This wider vision lets you anticipate traffic flow, spot potholes or gravel early, and make smooth, timely adjustments instead of sudden ones. Think of your eyes as steering tools. Looking through turns helps the bike lean naturally, and scanning side to side maintains awareness of surrounding vehicles. If you focus far ahead, your brain has more time to process what's coming, turning chaos into calm control. Look where you want to go isn't just advice, it's physics. The bike follows your line of sight, and your confidence grows when your vision leads your motion. Number 4. Slamming the brakes. Panic and braking don't mix. Many riders react to a surprise by grabbing the front brake in one sudden jab. That instant spike in pressure can lock the front wheel, throwing the rider over the bars or causing a low side skid. The rear brake can also lock and slide sideways. The correct technique is smooth and progressive braking. As jeopardize.com explains, you should start with gentle lever pressure to let weight transfer forward, then steadily increase squeeze as the front tire gains grip. Using both brakes together provides stability: front for power, rear for balance, especially on wet or uneven surfaces. Practicing quick stops in a parking lot helps build the muscle memory to squeeze, not grab. In emergencies, calm precision always beats panic. Smooth braking keeps both tires planted, shortens stopping distances, and gives you that crucial extra control when every second counts. Number 5. Twisting the throttle. Too aggressively. Throttle control separates smooth riders from reckless ones. Snapping the throttle open or chopping it closed abruptly can upset traction instantly. A sudden twist may spin the rear wheel or lift it into an unwanted wheelie, while an abrupt shutoff mid-turn can cause a dangerous front-end dive. Even with modern traction control, your right hand is still the most powerful tool or weapon on the bike. The goal is to roll the throttle smoothly, not yank it. As jeopardize.com points out, steady input keeps the suspension balanced and the tires gripping evenly. When exiting a corner, gently roll on power as the bike straightens up. When entering, ease off without jerks. On wet or loose surfaces, small wrist movements make a huge difference. Smooth throttle transitions keep weight stable between tires, prevent slides, and reduce fatigue. Controlled acceleration isn't slow, it's smart. The smoother you are on the throttle, the faster and safer you actually become. Number 6. Bombing into corners without control. Charging into corners too fast is a classic error that often ends in disaster. Riders who approach turns aggressively without preparation risk overshooting, drifting wide, or losing grip mid-lean. According to francelawgroup.com, improper cornering contributes to roughly 22% of fatal motorcycle crashes. The fix is a timeless principle. Slow in, fast out. Always brake and downshift while upright before the corner, not during it. Enter the turn at a manageable speed, eyes through the exit, and maintain a steady throttle. Lean in smoothly, don't yank the bars, and gently roll on the power as the bike stands up. This balance between entry speed and throttle control keeps traction consistent. Many riders crash because they enter too hot, panic mid-turn, and hit the brakes while leaned over. Practicing slower, cleaner entries trains your judgment. It's not about bravery, it's about control. A disciplined corner entry transforms sharp curves into graceful, predictable arcs instead of near misses. Number 7. Overconfidence and excessive speed. Speed itself doesn't kill, it's the false confidence behind it. Overconfidence makes riders underestimate risks and overestimate skill. Statistics show that speeding remains one of the leading causes of fatal motorcycle crashes, according to francelawgroup.com, while Tikaran.com notes that many riders crash on familiar roads because they felt comfortable. The truth: public roads aren't racetracks. Every corner hides unknown gravel, oil, or distracted drivers. Always ride at a pace that leaves room for mistakes, both yours and others. A useful rule of thumb is to travel at a speed where you can stop within the distance you can see ahead. Even reducing speed by 5 to 10 mph can cut your braking distance dramatically and buy you crucial reaction time. Confidence should come from awareness, not arrogance. The best riders look calm and measured because they respect physics. Remember, slowing down isn't losing, it's surviving. Ride with humility, and your skill will naturally expand over time. Number 8. Ignoring engine braking and proper gears. Coasting in neutral or riding in too high a gear is a silent safety killer. Many riders forget that the engine itself is an effective braking tool. Using engine braking, rolling off the throttle while downshifting through gears, helps slow the motorcycle in a smooth, controlled way. According to motorcycletraining.com, this technique reduces wear on your brake pads and keeps the bike balanced during deceleration. On downhill stretches, downshift one gear at a time, rather than relying only on brakes, letting engine resistance help manage speed. Always come to a stop in first gear so you can accelerate instantly if needed, as noted by insurance.harleydavidson.com. Coasting in neutral removes that readiness and forces a delay when traffic suddenly changes. At low speeds, balance throttle and clutch in the friction zone to maintain stability. Matching your gears to your speed keeps the engine responsive, improves control, and prevents the jerky hesitation that often leads to stalling or imbalance. Number 9. Neglecting defensive riding. Even perfect technique can't save you from inattentive drivers unless you ride defensively. Failing to anticipate others' mistakes is one of the biggest causes of preventable motorcycle crashes. Riders who tailgate, linger in blind spots, or assume drivers see them are setting themselves up for trouble. As francelawgroup.com emphasizes, defensive riding isn't paranoia, it's self-preservation. Keep a generous space cushion between you and traffic. A 2-second gap gives you time to react if the car ahead brakes suddenly. Stay out of blind spots and position yourself where you're visible in mirrors. Check your own mirrors regularly and watch for turn signals, drifting lanes, or brake lights. Bright gear and a lane position that highlights your presence can prevent collisions before they start. Most importantly, always plan an escape path. Treat every intersection as unpredictable and every driver as distracted. Defensive riding isn't fear, it's foresight. The discipline that turns awareness into survival on every ride. 9 motorcycle lies that are wasting your money. Lie 1. Premium gas is a magic bullet. Many riders assume that using high-octane premium gasoline will magically boost power or mileage. Dealers and forums often hype octane cleaning, convincing you to buy the priciest fuel at the pump. In fact, only high-compression sport bikes or turbo engines truly need 91+ octane. Most everyday bikes run fine on regular fuel. Using premium where it's not required is basically throwing money away, especially since modern fuel is already clean. In reality, unless your engine requires higher octane, there's no benefit. The EPM Motorsports blog bluntly notes that unless your bike's engine is specifically designed for high-octane fuel, you won't see any benefits. Going above the recommended grade can even cause incomplete combustion. Always stick to the fuel grade your manufacturer recommends. Pumping premium when you don't need it is just flushing cash down the drain. Lie 2. Oil only needs changing when it looks dirty. Some riders think oil changes are just cosmetic. If the oil still looks clear, why change it? New oil is golden, so a light color fools them into skipping scheduled service. Maybe they feel, if it ain't black, I'm fine. Unfortunately, this saves maybe $50 now but can cost thousands later. The truth is, oil degrades chemically over time even if it looks clean. EPM Motorsports points out that waiting too long between changes leads to poor lubrication and engine wear. Dark oil often just means it's doing its job collecting soot. Think of oil like blood. Even if it looks okay, it still needs regular renewal. Follow your service schedule. Synthetic oil might last longer, but it still needs periodic changes. Fresh oil and a new filter are cheap insurance against an expensive engine rebuild. Lie 3. Only premium tires can keep you safe. You've heard it. Cheap tires are trash and dangerous. Dealers and buddies often push riders into expensive, name-brand tires claiming better safety or grip. It's true some high-end tires excel, but paying top dollar doesn't guarantee performance. A good budget tire can handle the road just fine. Tire experts debunk this myth. Affordable tires are not automatically unsafe or junk. Many budget tires are built in the same factories as premium models, and some even outperform higher-priced brands in wet grip and mileage. The key is choosing a tire that matches your bike's needs and load rating. In short, a high-quality value tire can perform just as well as an expensive one, saving you cash without compromising safety. Lie 4. Aftermarket parts always outperform OEM. It's tempting to believe any shiny aftermarket upgrade will instantly turn your bike into a beast. Some shops sell this hard, claiming stock parts are boring and aftermarket is the only way to go. The performance parts industry makes upgrading sound like magic. In reality, your OEM parts were designed by engineers to work together. Scrapping them on a hunch can backfire. The truth: OEM parts are engineered precisely for your bike, ensuring proper fit and reliability. A service shop notes that factory parts provide perfect fit, optimal performance, and long-term durability. Of course, well-engineered aftermarket components can be great, but cheap knockoffs or poorly designed mods can cause more harm than good. For example, using a generic brake line instead of a rated motorcycle part could expand under pressure and fail. Before tossing a stock part, research any upgrade and choose trusted brands. Remember, your bike was built to work as a system. The stock parts often know best. Lie 5. Louder exhaust equals more power. Many riders think making the exhaust louder will crank up horsepower. After all, if a jet sounds powerful taking off, louder must mean faster, right? Dealers and social media love to sell the idea that chopping an exhaust and removing baffles is a performance mod. It might make your bike thunder, but that's mostly for show. In reality, volume is not horsepower. Simply removing baffles or using an open megaphone can reduce engine efficiency by upsetting the tuned back pressure. As EPM warns, a louder exhaust can actually reduce engine efficiency. In plain terms, you might look and sound tougher, but your bike won't be any faster. If you want real gains, invest in proven upgrades or better riding skills. Your neighbors will still hear you, but your lap times will thank you. Lie 6. Your chain will be fine without lubrication. Some riders think a new chain or even a tight chain never needs frequent lube. You might hear, "My chain's sealed," or "I only ride short commutes." This is risky. Chains endure huge tension and friction, so they need care. Ignoring lubrication can turn routine riding into an unexpected breakdown. Chains need regular lubrication. Waiting until the chain squeaks, rusts, or dries out means it's already suffered damage. Maintenance experts stress you should lube the chain on a set schedule, not just when problems show up. Proper chain oil prevents premature wear, reduces friction, and even runs quieter. A quick spray of dedicated chain lube every few rides costs just a few dollars, but can save you hundreds on replacements. Treat it like flossing a small, annoying chore. Now that prevents a very expensive problem later. Lie 7. Brake fluid never gets old. Brakes save lives, yet some riders treat brake fluid like an afterthought. If my brakes stop fine now, the fluid must be good forever, they say. This myth comes from ignoring what you can't see. Unlike pads, fluid stays clear and out of sight. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture from the air. Over time, this lowers its boiling point and leads to a mushy lever and fading brakes under hard use. Mechanics warn that old fluid can corrode calipers and compromise your stopping power. EPM explicitly cautions that ignoring fluid changes can compromise your stopping power. The fix is simple: bleed and replace brake fluid every 1 to 2 years as recommended. It's cheap insurance that keeps your braking sharp and your life intact. Lie 8. You can just store your bike and forget it. Here's one that catches many off guard. Simply parking your bike for winter and doing nothing. Some riders figure it ran fine last spring, so no prep needed. Unfortunately, that laziness is very costly in the long run. During storage, batteries slowly discharge, fuel gums up carbs or injectors, and metal parts can corrode. One shop bluntly warns that improper storage leads to battery drainage, fuel degradation, and even rust. In spring, you could find a dead battery, stale gas, and seized parts all hitting you in the wallet. Instead, do basic winterization. Add fuel stabilizer and fill the tank. Keep the battery on a tender and cover the bike. Spending a few $dozen on a stabilizer and battery charger now can save you hundreds on repairs later. Lie 9. Any modification voids your warranty. A final myth from dealers. Install any aftermarket part and poof, your warranty is void. This scare tactic has been around forever. It's convenient for dealers who want to discourage custom work, but it scares riders into thinking they can't personalize their bikes. Thanks to the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, this claim is mostly false. InGen Technology explains that a manufacturer cannot void the warranty of your vehicle due to an aftermarket part unless they can prove that the aftermarket part was the cause or contributed to the failure. In other words, adding a slip-on exhaust or intake won't automatically cancel your warranty. Only the specific component that fails due to the mood can be denied coverage. If a dealer does deny a claim, ask them to prove the part caused the issue. Bottom line, you're allowed to customize, just keep receipts, and don't let a blanket statement scare you into unnecessary spending. These 7 motorcycle braking mistakes that may cost you more than your bike. Number 1. Over-relying on the rear brake. A common mistake among many riders, especially those on cruisers, is relying almost entirely on the rear brake. While it might feel safer or more comfortable, this habit severely limits stopping power and increases crash risk. The front brake is responsible for most of your deceleration force. Ignoring it means you'll need far more distance to stop, and you're more likely to lock up the rear wheel, causing a skid. Many crash investigations reveal that riders either didn't use the front brake or failed to use it effectively. This not only lengthens your stopping distance, but also negates the benefits of safety features like ABS. Instead, both brakes should be applied together, with the front doing the majority of the work. Practicing emergency stops in a controlled environment will help you build muscle memory and develop confidence in using the front brake without overdoing it. Number 2. Panic grabbing the front brake. When riders react to a sudden hazard by yanking the front brake lever, they often trigger a dangerous front wheel lockup. This kind of abrupt action, especially when the suspension hasn't had time to compress, can cause the front tire to lose grip, instantly leading to a low side crash. Even motorcycles equipped with ABS aren't immune. A sudden, panicked grab can confuse the system or create uneven braking that still compromises control. The key to avoiding this mistake is learning and practicing progressive braking. This means you begin with gentle pressure on the lever to allow the suspension to compress and the tire to load properly, then gradually increase that pressure to slow the bike effectively. This 2-stage technique maximizes available traction and keeps the motorcycle stable. In stressful situations, panic is natural, but a calm approach and smooth inputs are what truly save you. Train your hands to react with control, not fear. Number 3. Not covering the brake. One of the most overlooked yet impactful habits in motorcycle riding is failing to keep your fingers on the front brake lever. Riders who wrap all their fingers around the throttle and only reach for the brake when danger appears are already behind. That split-second delay might not seem like much, but at highway speeds, it can mean the difference between stopping in time or hitting something. Covering the brake, keeping one or two fingers lightly resting on the lever, reduces reaction time and helps you respond instantly when needed. Especially in high-risk areas like intersections, heavy traffic, or blind corners, this technique gives you a clear advantage. Studies and rider training alike support this habit as one of the simplest ways to shorten your stopping distance. Practicing sudden stops while maintaining finger coverage builds muscle memory, confidence, and faster reactions. A small habit like this can prevent a major crash. Number 4. Braking with the throttle open. In high-pressure moments, many riders forget to roll off the throttle before applying the brakes, and that mistake can cost crucial stopping distance. Braking while still giving the bike gas is counterproductive. Your engine is pushing forward while your brakes are trying to slow you down. This conflict makes the stop weaker and harder to manage. It usually happens when panic takes over and both hands act separately, rather than in sync. The correct sequence is simple but vital. Throttle off first, then brakes on. The engine's natural deceleration, known as engine braking, starts slowing the bike immediately once you release the throttle, even before your brake pads bite. Practicing this smooth, consistent transition until it becomes second nature helps ensure you're always braking with maximum control. Synchronizing your hands rolling off and squeezing on in rhythm keeps your bike stable and working with you, not against you, when you need it most. Number 5. Killing the engine brake. Many riders instinctively pull the clutch the moment they decide to brake. While it might seem like a way to smooth out the stop, this action actually removes one of your most helpful tools: engine braking. When you close the throttle but remain in gear, your engine provides a natural resistance that helps slow the motorcycle. Pulling the clutch too early disables this effect, forcing your brakes to do all the work. Not only does this increase wear on brake components, but it also extends your stopping distance. A better technique is to keep the clutch engaged until the very end of the stop, allowing the engine to assist in slowing you down. If needed, you can downshift progressively to maintain engine braking, especially on hills or slippery terrain. Proper timing with the clutch makes braking more stable and controlled. Number 6. Braking while leaned over. Applying significant braking force while leaned into a corner is one of the most dangerous moves a rider can make. Whether it's the front or rear brake, any abrupt change in traction mid-lean can cause a loss of grip. This often results in the front tire washing out or the rear kicking sideways, depending on which brake is used. Many riders enter turns too fast, panic, and grab the brake only to crash seconds later. The key to safe cornering is managing speed before the lean. Always do your heavy braking in a straight line, then ease into the turn at a manageable pace. If you must adjust speed while cornering, use very light brake pressure and maintain a stable posture. Advanced techniques like trail braking allow for minor speed adjustments in a curve, but they require precise input and experience. For most riders, the best policy is to enter turns slowly and exit with control. Number 7. Braking too late. Braking at the last possible moment might seem like a way to maintain speed or ride aggressively, but it often ends in panic and poor outcomes. Late braking usually means rushed inputs, harder stops, and less room for correction. When riders wait too long to react to traffic, road changes, or obstacles, they're forced into emergency stops under stress, often with poor form. A far better strategy is to ride with awareness and anticipate situations that may require you to slow down. Scan the road ahead constantly and look for cues like slowing traffic, merging lanes, or debris. By easing off the throttle early and braking smoothly, you give yourself and the bike time to respond without drama. Maintaining a safe following distance and keeping escape routes open also reduces your reliance on late braking. Riding with foresight is not just a safety tactic, it's a mark of skilled motorcyclists. By understanding and correcting these 7 common braking mistakes, riders can dramatically improve their control, reduce crash risk, and handle emergency situations with confidence. Every rider, from new beginners to seasoned veterans, benefits from refining their braking habits. It's not just about stopping faster, it's about stopping smarter. Hidden problems you'll face on long motorcycle trips. Number 1. Muscles and bones become stiff. Holding a static, hunched position for hours will crank tension and cramps into muscles you didn't know you had. Even cushy touring seats can't stop your body from stiffening up. Soon, you'll feel sore shoulders, neck, wrists, and even lower back pain. Solution: adjust your ergonomics before setting off. Raise or lower handlebars and foot pegs so you're not locked in place. Stand on the pegs every 30-60 minutes and stretch out cramped muscles. Consider gel seat cushions or padded shorts to ease pressure on your butt and tailbone. Taking a few deep breaths or gentle neck rolls during breaks will realign your posture and reset your muscles. These quick fixes let you log bigger miles with much less pain. Don't dismiss any tingling or numbness. Even your knees, ankles, and feet can go numb from vibration. Loosen your grip and legs, don't clamp them on the tank so bumps hit the suspension, not your joints. These small adjustments keep you agile, not achy. Number 2, mental fog and fatigue. Riding demands 100% attention. You're constantly scanning, braking, and swerving in traffic. Long hours of this will fog up your focus and slow your reactions. You may start zoning out, forgetting the last few miles or drifting between lanes. This hazy, spacey feeling is a textbook sign of mental fatigue. Solution: get solid rest before and during your trip. Aim for a fresh 7 to 8 hours of sleep nightly. Plan periodic rest stops so you can walk and literally wake up your brain. Stretch, splash water on your face, or chat with a friend at each break to clear the cobwebs. Carry water and balanced snacks. A protein bar or nuts beat a heavy lunch for stable energy. Caffeine can jolt you awake during a lull, but it's no substitute for real rest. When the buzz fades, only those breaks and naps will keep you safe. Keep an eye out for the classic tunnel vision signs. If your focus wavers, pull over immediately. These tactics will let you stay sharp to see hazards ahead. Number 3, boredom and monotony. Ever feel your brain go numb staring at endless highway stripes? Highway hypnosis is real. Riding hours on end without scenery changes dulls your senses and invites mistakes. Combat the monotony by varying your route. Take scenic back roads instead of the busy freeway, even if it adds miles. Fresh sights will spike your adrenaline and break the trance. Blast some upbeat tunes through your helmet speakers or turn on a podcast to keep your mind engaged. Pull over every couple of hours for 5-minute stretch, chat with a fellow rider, or just soak in the view. Anything that interrupts the routine resets your brain. Remember, keeping things interesting is key to staying alive and alert. Number 4, weather woes. Long-distance rides often cross wild temperature swings and weather. A sun-baked morning can become a chilly drizzle by afternoon. If you start underdressing, that cold wind will sap your body heat and morale. If you only packed a t-shirt, you'll risk serious sunburn and heat exhaustion in high sun. Solution: pack layers and rain gear. Wear a breathable, ventilated jacket with removable liners. Carry waterproof gloves and boots. A surprise downpour can ruin the day in seconds. On very hot days, use light-colored vents in your jacket to block sun, but let airflow. On cold days, adding a thermal base layer or wool jersey or even a thin wool shirt makes a huge difference in warmth. Always carry high SPF sunscreen and reapply it on exposed skin. Fog or drizzle can be deadly if your visor fogs up. Keep a pinlock lens or anti-fog spray handy so you can actually see the road. If clouds gather, zip in liners or pull off under shelter early. A little planning prevents hypothermia or heat stroke from sneaking up on you. Number 5, dehydration and nutrition. You might not feel sweaty on a bike, but sun, engine heat, and wind combine to dry you out fast. Even mild dehydration slows your reflexes and clouds judgment. You'll tire sooner and lose concentration. Solution: hydrate constantly. Carry water or a hydration bladder in your pack and sip frequently, at least every 20 minutes, even if you're not thirsty. On really hot days, add electrolytes or sports drinks to replace salts. Also, avoid big greasy meals that spike blood sugar and crash later. Instead, eat small balanced snacks to maintain steady energy. Don't rely on buzz foods or sweets. Avoid caffeine overload and skip alcohol before riding. They act as diuretics and wreck both hydration and sleep. Keep a bottle in easy reach and maybe even stow a second bottle on the bike. Staying hydrated and fueled is vital to endure long days. Number 6, fuel range and timing mistakes. Even if you're good at filling up, running out of gas is a rookie mistake that happens to vets. Know your bike's real mileage. Does empty actually mean zero, or another 20-30 miles? One rider learned the hard way his tourer only managed 150 miles per tank. Solution: plan your fuel stops in advance. Carry your route with marked stations, or use an app to find gas. Top off every time you see a station. Even at 3-4 tank, don't gamble with range. Watch your schedule too. Fueling takes longer on unfamiliar roads. Keep a timer or phone reminder on brakes, and don't push each day past sunset chasing miles. Filling up by daylight ensures open pumps, food, and saves stress. If the next town is 150+ miles away, fill up as soon as possible. These checks and extra stops mean you'll never scramble for gas in the dark. Number 7. Gear and packing blunders. Overstuffed luggage and wrong gear can sabotage comfort and safety. Slinging a heavy pack on your back shifts your center of gravity and beats up your shoulders. Solution: ditch the backpack. Whenever possible, use saddlebags or hard cases. Distributing weight evenly keeps heavy items low and centered. Double-check that every bag is locked or strapped tight before you ride off. Make everything waterproof. A sudden shower will soak your bike bag's contents in seconds. Use dry bags or rain covers for electronics, clothes, and papers. Pack light. Bring only what you need: toiletries, 1 or 2 outfit changes, basic tools. Every extra pound multiplies vibrations and fatigue. Keep a small toolkit and multi-tool handy for minor fixes. Always stash a set of spare gloves and a warm hat. Missing these can turn a damp evening into a miserable ordeal. In short, a streamlined, well-packed bike means fewer headaches on the road. Number 8. Mechanical breakdowns. Any weak link on your bike will show itself on a 500-mile day. Chains stretch, bolts shake loose, bulbs burn out under constant vibration. Solution: pre-ride check. Inspect and lube your chain, top off oil and coolant, check tire pressure and tread. Tighten any loose fasteners. Pack a flat kit, plugs for tubeless tires or a spare tube, and a compact pump or CO2 cartridges. Carry basic tools: adjustable wrench, Allen keys, pliers, duct tape, and zip ties, enough to bung up a problem. Don't forget spares. The littlest parts can make a ride-ending issue fixable on the spot. A small toolkit and a sense of preparedness means most mechanical disasters become minor inconveniences. Number 9. Noise and wind exposure. Never underestimate the wind's toll on a long ride. Highway wind noise is punishing and exhausts you faster than you think. After hours of roaring air, you'll feel irritable, get headaches, or even permanent hearing damage if unprotected. Solution: always wear a full-face helmet and earplugs made for riders. The helmet blocks most wind blasts, and foam plugs knock the roar down to a safe murmur. Wind also dries out eyes and skin. Use good goggles or a tinted visor and reapply lip balm or face moisturizer often. A lightweight buff or neck gaiter shields your neck from buffeting winds and sun. If your bike has an adjustable windscreen, even a small change in angle can deflect more wind over your head instead of into your chest. These little protections keep you comfortable and focused, so invisible noise fatigue won't sneak up on you. Proper preparation and awareness turn hidden hazards into minor hiccups. 9 motorcycle secrets. Cops dread you discover, learn them now. Number 1. Safe spot pullover. When a cop flashes lights, don't panic. Always pull off on the right side, preferably in a well-lit area. Turn on your hazard lights once you decide to stop. That extra signal shows you got the message. An officer needs a clear view of your bike and you, so stop on a level shoulder or even a parking lot if available. Leave a few extra feet between you and passing traffic. That gives everyone room and shows you're safety-minded. Never dart left or block traffic that is illegal and only makes things worse. A safe, calm pullover earns instant respect. Cops will relax knowing you're not going to make a scene. Number 2. Stay put and stay calm. After you stop, stay on your bike with your hands on the handlebars. Do not jump off or reach for anything until the officer tells you to. Cops get nervous when riders fumble around or make sudden moves, as if they might be hiding something. One experienced motor officer notes, Nothing makes an officer more nervous than someone moving around while stopped. Instead, make yourself easily visible. You can even place your open palm on the grips to show your hands are empty. Keep your helmet on until asked to remove it, and don't apologize or get flustered. A steady, calm attitude can turn a tense stop into a quick compliance check. Turn off loud music or engine noises and focus on the officer. This clears up communication and avoids misunderstandings. Number 3, papers at the ready. You are required by law to show these 3 items during a traffic stop: your driver's license, bike registration, and proof of insurance. The trick is to keep them handy but only hand them over when asked. As the officer approaches, calmly say where they are. Then slowly retrieve and extend them, one at a time. Rummaging through pockets or cases without permission can make an officer worry you're hiding something. By standing still and providing each document promptly, you show that you're organized, not evasive, something cops definitely prefer. For example, keep your papers in predictable spots. Insurance card in your jacket, license in your wallet, registration in the bike's tank bag. Always carry paper copies if you rely on a phone, have backups, as tech can fail when you need it most. Number 4, know your rights. Even on a bike stop, you have constitutional rights. After you give ID, you can remain silent, politely decline an unwarranted search, and even record the stop. Many states explicitly allow you to film police in public as long as it doesn't interfere. As one motor officer said, "I could care less if you record me if it does not interfere with my investigation." So yes, it's okay to use a helmet cam or phone camera here. You can calmly ask, "Officer, am I free to leave?" If the questions seem done, this shows you know your rights, which often disarms an officer. If an officer asks why you were stopped, keep it brief and honest. Don't argue. Note the badge number and contest it later if needed. Remember to save disagreements for the judge. Cooperating now doesn't admit guilt. It just shows respect for the process. Number 5, gear and helmet laws. Your gear can save you. Always wear a helmet and safety-rated gear if law requires it. In the US, helmet laws vary by state. Some let experienced riders go without a helmet under certain conditions. But in the UK, helmets are mandatory for all riders. Never assume you can skip the helmet tickets, and criminal charges are automatic for a helmet violation. Also, watch your visor. UK law only permits dark visors up to 50% tint during daylight. Riding at night with a dark visor could land you with a dangerous driving charge and a 1-year ban. Always carry a clear visor as backup. Beyond helmets, wearing reflective or high-vis clothing helps you stand out safely. It may not be required, but it shows you're thinking ahead. Finally, make sure all your gear meets safety standards. In the UK, that means BS or ECE certified. Cops will check that if they suspect non-compliant equipment. Number 6, mod with caution. Riders love mods, but cops watch for the illegal ones. Excessive